What it do? What it do? What's good? What's good? My boy Najee in the building. Let's go. Let's go. Let's get the likes up. Jonathan is in the building. Let's get the likes. The number's jumping. The number is jumping. It's a lot of Laker news. A lot of Laker news, man. It's a lot. Elder's ready to go in. Lakers over everything. What's good? We about to do that legendary interview. They Lakers over everything and LA Sports Live will be coming soon. Will be coming soon. Well, boy, Elder in the build. Elder gonna, man, we going to end the day. Today gonna be a big show, man. A big show. Who else we got in the building? Tom Lou, Bryant. See you later. George. Let's get the likes up. We gotta do better. The interview I just did, we need to get the numbers up a little more, man. The numbers got to come up a little more, man. Dennis, what up? Let's get the likes up. We got guests and things like that, man. We got to show people when they come to the Kareem report, it's nothing but support. No matter if you agree or disagree with the person or not, but it's about showing support. The reason we doing this, y'all know why we doing this, to build. We about building communities. We gonna build communities.
Salute, my brother. What's going on?
What up, Elder? How you?
I'm blessed, brother. How you doing?
Ain't nothing. Just chilling. What's going on with you? How the flooding? Everything good? You
Yeah. You said what?
you're a little low.
Hold on. Let me see if this is down low. No, that's about high as it go. Can you hear me?
Yeah, now
I'm still
it's
low. Okay. No, it's well. It's well. We the city and all that, they doing a bunch of cleanup. Had a bunch of just structural damage to like streets, bridges, overpasses, stuff like that. You know, that water did a major damage to a lot of that stuff. So they got a lot of places blocked off, and because they're not safe, the infrastructure has been compromised. So they taking care of that. So that's gonna be a little bit. You know what I mean? Street work takes a while, so they be doing that stuff for a while. But other than that, we good. Hold on, 2 seconds. Hold on.
yeah. Yeah, we gonna end the day, man. It's a lot of Laker news, man. We got in store for you
You
guys,
know,
man. It's a lot of Laker news we got in store for you guys, man.
I want a water.
It, it, it,
Waters.
it's gonna be lit, man.
Yeah, looks like
It's
the
gonna
Lakers
be
are.
lit. My boy Marlon, this can't be. Come on, man. Look what Marlon just said. 32 people had 9 likes. Come on, we trying to. This is not right, man. I'm gonna let Elder talk to you guys, man.
Oh, crazy. That's crazy, man.
Come on, man. We can't do that. I had a guest on just now. I topped out at 115 people. Should have been. I promoted it. We gotta support it, man. We have to support it. This
Man,
way, that's like TV shows. Don't y'all know when TV shows come
are
on?
rough.
If they don't get the ratings, it stops. So if
Hmm.
y'all want this thing to continue, you know what I mean? It gotta be every time we build on something. It can't just be picking and choosing on one. It gotta be every time
Hey,
we build.
salute. Salute Marlon, Carlton,
Let's get
Brian,
the likes up, man. How can we
Terrence,
have all these people here had 9 likes?
Mookie.
Come on. They need to
We got more likes than that. We had like 29 now.
29
Or
now, but we got
49,
50.
45 people in here. But I see 45 people. 54 now.
I see, yeah.
Y'all hit that like button, man. Let's go. Y'all know how this works. Let's get it, man.
Let's get the
Y'all
like
want to
button.
get into it? Let's get into it. If you
Yeah,
don't
we
want to get
got it's a
into it, we
lot of
cool.
basketball news, man. It's a lot going on. Fresh
Make
material.
it.
You gotta stay here and stay here with us. J. Lou, Sean, Mookie, Carton, Marlon. You know, Dennis said, y'all got a bunch of season ticket holders for the Lakers.
They're gonna be fine. They buy them every year. They will be mad at old boy, but hey, it is what it is.
Oh, we're gonna
Gonna
go
be what
in
it's
on
gonna
that.
be.
I'm trying to give it a little more. I need more people to come in, man, because
Let's
this is
go, y'all.
big.
Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it.
It's
Let's get it.
big. Y'all know when that like up, it helps.
Salute, my brother Cato. Salute.
He said, "How
Salute.
y'all like Montrez to Philadelphia?" I guess we could touch on that real quick while the likes go up a little bit. You could touch on that. Me personally, I like my boy DC Phillip with the glass bottle. That's love there. He's showing champagne. We gonna win. We winners. Montrez Harrell with me. I like that for Philadelphia. They get another guy that with some toughness. You know that just what it is. You know, get a guy who have some toughness. He could score. So I think that's good for Philadelphia. They need that. They bench was horrible. We got it says salute to the host, new sub showing love for Buddha's Golly Chant.
Man,
Thanks
salute.
for
Salute. New
subbing
sub.
sexy
Definitely need you
Slam
to hit
God.
that
Thank you.
subscriber button. Thank you.
Thank you. I
Salute.
really appreciate you subscribing. But go ahead, Elder. How you feel about the Montrez?
I mean, it says one thing to me that the issue in that Clipper locker room was not just it wasn't Montrez against the coaches because oh boy ain't holding no hard feelings against Montrez. You know what I'm saying? So it must have been some player to players type of stuff going on since old boy just gave him another job. Um, is it a needle mover? I think Montrez's big thing is he can score. The problem is he just got to get better defensively for me. And for Philly to get it done at the position Montrez play, that 4 and that 5, that small ball 5, he gonna be going up against some beasts, bro. He gonna be going up against some beasts. It's gonna destroy his tail. So he just got to give it a little bit more effort on the defensive end, man. He really do. He definitely is a bucket. He's a double double. He can score and he can rebound. He just gives up defensively. He just hurts you so much. So if you can't get that curved, you're gonna have issues. Hmm.
I think if he stayed focused on the boards, he could do it because these centers today don't take advantage of their matchups.
He's 6'7" though, and
No,
it's
no,
not like he's
no, but
ultra.
I'm
He's
saying
he's
like
athletic, but not ultra athletic. You know,
no,
he's
he's not.
athletic, but he's not ultra. Yeah. So that's the problem. That's the problem. He's a great rebounder. He's a good scorer. Montrez, he a bucket, bro. I mean, people act like he ain't got that little jump shot, that little 15, 18 footer. He got that. You know, he gonna score inside the bucket. I mean, the problem is guys like that are great for six man because you let them come in, cook, and get them right out. You don't give them a chance to hurt you defensively. So if they use him in that role, I'm cool. But they already got that. And well, no,
They don't got that.
just hold on, Tyrese Maxey, he's starting now, right?
Ty Maxey start.
I thought he was in that role pretty much for him, is what I thought. Yeah, he was before Danny Green got hurt. He was. I was about to say he wasn't starting. Tyrese Maxey wasn't starting at first. He didn't start till Danny Green went down. When Danny Green finally got hurt, that's when I think he got into the starting lineup. So if they got Montrez as that 6 man role, I do like that. You know, it's
I
just
like that
gotta get better from the defensive end. That's
because
all.
and then they got him for 2 years, $5.2 million
Total or per?
total.
Oh, that's vet minimum then.
Yeah, he
He's
got
making the
two
vet minimum.
back-to-back vet minimums. I'm pretty sure he put an option. I think what Trez doing, I think he probably said it sucks to take a deal like that, but he probably looking at it like at least I'm gonna have a job, but I'm opt out. I believe he got to be an opt out because he's
If
still
he
in the
plays
score, right?
well and if he plays well and he can, that's cool. One thing I noticed about Trez though, he's never been one of these guys that like been just head over heels about the. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. Everybody want that money, but I mean Trez has not been moved by that money. He has not been making decisions from the financial standpoint. He's trying to make moves that work best for him. I actually respect and honor that out of a dude that just don't take a boatload of money and go somewhere and be unhappy. You know what I'm saying? And let's just keep it real. I mean, if you get $80 million over 4 years, or if you make $40 million over 4 years, that's a boatload of bread, bro. If you handle it right, you good for the rest of your days. You see what I'm saying? So I like that he's not motivated by the greed. It appears.
And you said a good point. I don't want that to go over people's heads because he did take because like he said, regardless, people say well, Rich Paul you want, but he still made that decision. and he
Yep.
made the decision instead of taking, I think it was 84 with Charlotte. They was off from 84, 4 years, 84, and he took 2 years, 10 million with Clutch. I mean, with the Lakers. So,
Some
like you
was saying
said,
it was $100 million. I thought some people was trying to report it was $100 million he
it
had
was
on.
100. Oh, I
That's what
thought
I
it was
heard.
84.
Either way, is a lot. That was a lot. Either way, it was a lot to me. Yes, sir. It was a lot. So we'll see what happens with that. I'm glad he got a job.
Thank you, Jonathan, with the cash. I mean, with the super chat. I really appreciate it.
Jonathan Neely, we stuck with Russ, and he got the mad face emoji.
Oh, we're gonna get into all that. I'm just trying to wait because we do have a special guest. I'm trying to let it go in this way. We don't have to backtrack and have to keep talk about
Really
the same
need y'all
thing.
to get them likes up. I'm seeing 66 likes, and I'm seeing there's 105 people in here, man. Oh, let's get them likes up. Let's get over 100 likes, y'all. Let's get over 100 likes real quick when we get this rolling. Y'all get this special guest in here. I think y'all gonna like the special guest. I think y'all gonna like the special guest. It ain't Ticket TV either. It ain't Ticket, y'all. No. He's a good guest. He's just not special anymore. Because y'all see him all the time. Not Ticket TV. It's not one of our guys from the Breakfast Club.
What's going on?
There he is.
We got As We Stand Lakers. How you doing, brother?
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, I just got the link. So yeah, I was just waiting for the link. Yeah, as soon as I got it, I jumped on in. Appreciate you guys having me. Thank you so much.
Now we definitely gonna have it because see the thing is, Elder and I we talked and I want to give a shout out to my boy AC, my boy LA Sports Live, because we saw you on there. We like you really know, like you talk like how man Elder talk.
Yeah.
So we was very highly impressed the way your basketball knowledge and everything like that. So we was like, yo, we gotta get him on a show, something different. Put some little, because you know pretty much you talk just like how we talk.
Yeah,
talk
appreciate it. Appreciate it. Well, I'm here. You guys give me what you want, and I'll answer it. You'll get the real. So
now we're gonna get into. I want to say a couple shout outs to people: Sean family, FIF Sports, Tom Banks, Dennis, Red 2005, Lake of Everything, Dennis. So we got Brandon.
Super dark.
We got a lot of people. So basically, we've been I don't know if you're familiar with this channel here, but we've been on the clock with following this Russell Westbrook thing. So I'm gonna ask both of you guys, you and Elder. We all saw that Russell Westbrook attended Patrick Beverley press conference, and we see them in pictures together. They hug, and not only that, they talking and laughing and joking, having conversations. Do you think that gives the Lakers position of strength now that other teams see that if we don't get the deal we want, we comfortable bringing back Russ? Since you the guest on the show, I'll start with you, then we go to Elder.
All right. I mean, absolutely, of course, anytime you see, especially with their history, right? I mean, Russ's biggest injury of his career was because of Patrick Beverley. So anytime you can see two guys like that work it out, hash it out, it's always a good sign. And it shows that the Lakers don't have that desperation that everyone believes. You know, it's like, hey, our two guys, the new guy we got, the guy we had, Darvin Ham. Darvin Ham's been talking up Westbrook like he's Michael Jordan. You know, like he's out there talking about him like he's, you know, it's the second coming. So it's like, it's great to see. Now, personally, I don't put too much into that interaction and that exchange. And even when you saw Darvin Ham in the interview, they asked, like, is the roster pat? Like, is this what it is? And, you know, he says, look, that's not up to me. That's up to Rob Pelinka. You know, so if a deal is in place to move Russ, Pelinka's going to take that. But until that happens, we got to keep in mind, Russ is still a Laker. He's working in the facility. He's handing out. You know, he's doing those things. Like, it wasn't like he's been at every press conference. Like, this wasn't like an anomaly. It wasn't like he just like, this is the only one. No, he's been in every Darvin Ham's press conference. He was working out before So it's not like he just came just for, like, people are trying to make it seem, which I understand from the photos and stuff like that, they're making it look like, Russ just showed up for Patrick Beverley's thing. No, he was already there. Like, he just walked into the other room, essentially, is what it was. But it is a great sign, and it's a great showing that, like, hey, we have this community, we have this, we're trying to move in a positive direction, whether I'm on the team or not. And you see Pat Bev speaking so highly of Russ, stuff like that. It's a good sign. But I just think that, one way or another, we're going to end up having either two things going to happen. We're going to either have Russ, or Russ is going to get traded. But until he gets traded, we have him. So you might as well build him up, especially with his ego and his sensitivity and stuff like that. Like, what is Darvin Ham supposed to say? Nah, Rush is trash. I want him gone. Like, no, he's got to say what he's got to say, because there's a real possibility that he's going to be on the team. But yeah, those are kind of my thoughts on it.
So to you, Elder, like I asked as it stand Lakers. What's your actual name?
Yeah, you can call me Tyler. My name's Tyler.
Tyler. Okay. Yeah. Like I asked Tyler, do you think we get a position of strength by doing this? Because me personally, I think it helped the Lakers, because now it shows that we comfortable bringing Russ back. Because like Tyler said, it presented out there that we desperate to trade Westbrook.
Yeah, it just really depends on when you say a position of strength, it just really depends on what these other teams' goals and desires are. If their number one goal is to get both those picks and they can't get it, we ain't got no strength, because they're not going to do the deal. And like I told you, Danny Ainge is a seasoned veteran at this. So I trust Danny Ainge, believe it or not, in doing what is right for his team. I do trust that. Now, again, he wants to get as much as he can. He'll fleece you if he can, but I do trust Danny Ainge from his history to do what's right for his team. Indiana, not so much. I really don't. They make a lot of bad moves, like a couple other teams. So does it give us a true position of strength? I don't think so. I think what it does is it helps the whole everything, like Russ, because Russ has desires too as a player. And if he gets outside the pocket or anything crazy, I mean, because Russ is on the brink, bro. I mean, he's on the brink. And he has an image that needs to be repaired big time. So if he shows that he's not complying in any kind of way, that's going to turn off teams. And again, you got 30 of them in the NBA. You know one don't want you because you own them and they're trying to get rid of you. So you only got 29 other teams. So you need to get one team to believe in you so you can get to your goal. So I think it's just, being professional. Now, again, from what I've seen in the NBA, guys do get over stuff, y'all. They don't hold grudges. There's not a lot of guys in the NBA that just hold grudges. You may not be a person's favorite player or a favorite guy to hang with, but most guys just don't hold grudges. They can move on, especially if they believe that a guy's come and been sincere. Like if like hypothetically, say Patrick Beverley went to him and said, "Look, bro, I was just young, dumb, stupid, man. That was stupid of me to do that, man. I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you." And you can know that it's contrite. You can move on from that. Now, again, that don't mean y'all going to be bosom buddies and going and running through L.A. together. You know what I'm saying? But you can be professional and work together. And I think that's what Russell Westbrook and I think that's what Patrick Beverley going to do if they decide to keep him. Now, to me, all the grandstanding by the Lakers and all that, it just leads to me believing now more that they're going to probably move him, because for a while here, it's teeter-tottering back and forth. One minute you feel like it ain't gonna happen. Next minute you feel like it's going down. Next minute you feel like it looks bad. So I think the Lakers, like my buddy Tyler said here, if they got a deal in place, Rob pulling the trigger. If it's a deal that works for the Lakers, he's definitely pulling the trigger. But if it don't, I think the Lakers, from Jeannie Buss on down to the equipment managers, are cool keeping Russ. I really believe that.
So Tyler, I'm gonna ask you and Elder this question also. So I'm gonna start with you, Tyler. Your prediction, you feel we at September 6th now, we know that everybody on the Utah Jazz roster is eligible to get traded. Do you see a trade happening, or you not so sure? And what team you think the trade will happen?
So personally, at this point, I think it's Utah or bust. I do think a trade gets done. And the reason I say Utah or bust is because Utah is our leverage for other teams, but like the Pacers, for example, their asking price is higher than what the Nets wanted for Kyrie. Like, it's insane. They want us to take Daniel Tice's 3-year salary, Buddy Hield, Miles Turner. They want both first, and they want a THT. THT isn't even on the roster anymore. So now what? Now they want 3 seconds. They want a couple picks. Like, it's insane. But if you have somebody like Utah, where it's like, we can get this deal done, now you kind of are put in a position to where you can kind of leverage that for other deals. But I still don't think those are going to get done. The Knicks is very intriguing to me because realistically, we probably don't have to give up any picks in that deal, or we shouldn't, I should say. But I think a Utah deal gets done if they can work out the draft compensation, because the Lakers aren't going to give up both picks. And the reason I think a deal gets done, Utah has to move some guys. They have like 19, 20 guys on the roster, 2 of which are two-way deals, but you can only keep 15. So if you remove the two-way deals, that's still 17 to 18 guys. So they have to move off of at least 2 or 3 guys. And what are your options? The beauty and the position the Lakers are in, and why I believe they do have some leverage, is because we're the only team that has a contract like Russell Westbrook. You know, a team like Miami, you think Miami wouldn't trade Duncan Robinson for Conley? And of course he would, in a heartbeat. You know, Bogdanovich and Beasley or something. Of course he would. But why would Utah want to take on that 4-year, $25 million a year contract or whatever? It makes no sense. So Utah's options are either trade with the Lakers, and you basically do it all at one swoop. You know, you trade based on the Tony from the Athletic on the Utah side. Also Jazz Notes, who they're the ones that leaked the Donovan Mitchell trade, stuff like that. So credible places. Supposedly it's Beasley, Conley, and Bogdanovich is what they're working out. Apparently those are the players that have been kind of, I guess, agreed upon, you could say. They're just trying to figure out the draft compensation. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. I'm just some dude on the internet, but that's what these credible sources have said. The Athletic, we all know the Athletic. Athletic's very credible. They're not just going to make something up. So the way I look at it is like, your options are either the Lakers and you get something back, or if you don't like that, then you're either taking back bad salaries, because remember, Utah can't take other players. You can't do a Conley for Duncan Robinson. Let's just say you can't do that because you still need to move Duncan Robinson. So it has to be 2 for 1. Who's doing that? Who's trading, unless you're taking a terrible contract or you're giving up draft compensation, which is completely the opposite of what Danny Ainge is trying to do. So that's why I think a Lakers deal is likely to get done. Nothing's guaranteed. It's the NBA. But I just think Utah's in a position where they have to get something done. They're going to play hardball, of course, Danny Ainge. But in reality, Lakers have more leverage than people think.
I say that too, because Dario with the super chat, he says, salute guys. I just saw Danny Ainge want more picks. And like you just said, he gonna try to play hardball, but it's really a no man's land. Like you said, I done videos and said it's really nowhere for them to go. Yeah. The Lakers the only team that could get 3 to 4 guys off their roster. What you say, Elder?
Okay. Yeah. I heard the saying about the players. It don't make much sense to me yet, though, because the finances don't work out. You got to have the finances line up. And when you have Bogdanovich making 19, Conley making almost 23, and then old boy making 15, if I'm not mistaken, 14 and a half, 15 million. Beasley, that's what he makes. Yeah, he's making 15 because old boy's making 14, I think, or 13, 14, 14, 15.
Say the names for you on, because
Beasley's. I'm sorry, no problem. Beasley's making 14 this year, 15 next year, and I think Clarkson is making 13 this year, 14 next year, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere around that range. So when you do the math, that's well over $55 million. So that's got the Lakers giving back too many players, because you'd have to put Russ. Then the only thing you can package would be none, which I understand because you're getting a point guard back, right? But you're giving up 2 point guards to get 1 back. That don't make much sense to me. Then you'd have to throw in like a William Gabriel, because he's making 1.8. I think that money works, mathematically, but the Lakers will still be taking back salary, which I don't think the Lakers want to do. I don't think the Lakers want to do that when you're already over the cap. And any little bit, I mean, if you take back $3-4 million in salary, now you're getting taxed on that amount, so that's going to be another $8 million on tax. I don't think the Lakers want to do that for this deal. And then be fleeced out of 2 picks to do it? I don't see that happening. So the numbers got to match up, and that's why when I was doing the deals, the numbers got to match up to where the Lakers ain't taking back no salary. And if it is, it's like extremely minuscule. Because when you're over that tax, bro, that you can take $1 million back. That's gonna cost you freaking $4 million though. You see what I'm saying? That's gonna cost you $3 or $4 million real money. And I don't see the Lakers doing that. And that's probably and they want picks more. They want more picks and us to take back more money. That's why I don't see the Lakers doing that deal. So I know he's saying, my boy Tyler saying Utah or bust. This is why I think other teams are trying to get involved because the Lakers are not trying to take back no money. I don't know why they would give up these picks and take back money. I would rather keep Russ. I really would. I would rather keep Russ.
Yeah. Can I interject? So like, yes. So like the money, of course, is a big thing, but there's no way the Lakers are giving up both first in that deal. Like the Lakers wouldn't have to. So here's the thing: you take on Conley, which is a better fit than Clarkson. You take on Beasley and you take on Bogdanovich. Both are expiring next year, which the Lakers are key on. They want to keep that cap space preserved. Now, Conley next year would be an expiring contract. It's much easier to move at $22.5 million, something like that, next season than right now, which is 2 years. And if the Lakers can keep that first, you'll be able to get rid of Conley. Some team will take that first and take on Conley's salary, assuming the only reason they're keeping the cap space is in case Kyrie wants to come. There's no guarantee for Kyrie. But if you keep your cap preserved, which is what the Jazz deal works out, then you're still in a good position because you're not going to have to give up both first in that deal because Utah benefits too. They have to unload guys. And that's where I think it's important. And from the Lakers standpoint, Jordan Clarkson, I know a lot of people want Jordan Clarkson over Conley. Conley's better defensively, better shooter. Clarkson has some terrible habits he developed in Utah because he was just able to be a shot clunker. He shot 42% the last 2 seasons from the field. Kendrick Nunn shot 38% from 3 last time he played. Kendrick Nunn has almost shot as good as Jordan Clarkson's total. So it's just that doesn't make sense. Then you have Walker and all kinds of we have like 3 or 4 Jordan Clarksons on our team. That doesn't make sense. Conley does everything that Westbrook, the idea of getting Westbrook would do. That veteran guy that can take the pressure off LeBron, can be a point guard. People talk about his injury. He played 71 games last year. It's pretty good. So I'm not worried about that. The salary would be an issue. If I'm not mistaken, I'd have to look it up again, but I did the math on Conley, Beasley, and Bogdanovich, and it just clears it. You might have to do Gabriel because Conley's making like 20. I think it gets 22.3 million this year. So then you have Beasley's making 15. I think it's like 15.4. So right there, that's, what, 38, let's call it 39. And then Bogdanovich is only making, I believe,
make 19,
something like that, or 18.7, something like that. So you're around 50.
19.5. It's
19.5. Oh,
so
okay.
You're around 56, 57 million.
Yes, which was the same amount as Joe Harris and Kyrie Irving. That theirs was like 56, 57 million. You might have to include win-in, which wouldn't be the biggest.
The difference with that though, THT, because you had $11 million there. When you were trying to do the Kyrie and the what's his name, you had those 3 contracts. Russ's, the 10, 11 million for THT plus the none. So you could easily make it. THT's gone now. So we can't make that salary match. And Russ make 47. Boy makes what's his name? Nunn makes 5.2. So you're at what, 52, $53 million right there. It's still going to be a little bit of money. You can do win-in because win-in is a good thing because.
No, go ahead. No, I was saying if the person said it matches, we know it matches, but basically what Elder's saying is it matches to get the deal to go through, but that means the Lakers taking on money. Yes. So now if the Lakers taking on money, that means
that's extra salary. That's extra tax.
On some money. They got to get compensated.
And people don't
ask for all this. We taking on Conley money, and we saving you a draft pick because if nobody do nothing, Utah gonna have to give up a pick to get rid of Conley. So we're saving you a pick there. And then Bogdanovich, if you look at the history, what Christian Wood and Jeremy Grant, they both went for protected picks and they only went for 1 pick, and they had contracts coming up. So that's why when it comes to a guy like Bogdanovich, I think the most he probably get by the deadline maybe 2 second-round picks, because a lot of teams is valuing these first-round picks so heavy, right? Second-round picks got good value right now. Yeah. So I think, like Tyler said, Elder said, I've been saying, it makes all the sense in the world. The Lakers, you getting rid of 3 to 4 players, you can just get rid of them instead of trying to do a deal here, deal there.
If we did that deal and we added our 3 players for their 3 players, because that's what it would take. Now, essentially, it's really 2 players for 3, for the simple fact, boy's on a what's his name, Gabriel. He's on a non-guaranteed contract.
The Lakers guaranteed his contract. He's on a guaranteed now.
Did they guarantee it?
So here's the thing though. Here's the thing, because the NBA rule, you have the 125 rule. With just Westbrook's salary, the Lakers can take on about $56 million with just Westbrook. So that's what I'm saying. And here's the thing too.
It'd be crazy to do that though.
Well, yeah, I understand that, but you gotta look at it from all perspectives. Somebody has to give. So the Lakers can't say, we don't want to give any picks. We want to take back players, but we also want to preserve salary, but we don't want to take on too much money. You get what I'm saying? At some point, it's like, do you want to give both firsts, or do you want to take on salary and pay extra tax? It's an agreement, like they want both first.
Yeah, sorry. You also have that. No, you good. You also had the option to just stay pat, and I think that's what the Lakers.
Of course,
I think that's what the Lakers. From what they're showing me, I don't, because Jeannie Buss is she's not like one of these big time owners. People don't realize the Lakers. That's all they have. So they're not making the money like some of these other owners are. They're actually like in the bottom 5 of earnings. And you got to split that between the whole family. It's not 1 or 2 people getting that money. It's the whole Buss family that inherited children, all these boogers that ain't doing nothing getting money. So it's different for them. So I don't see it. I don't see Jeannie, even though logistically she can do it, right? I don't see him doing it. I don't see her taking on $7-8 million over the tax, because she's already over the tax. So that means if you take on $8 million times 6, I mean, bro, that's $24 million that she got to pay in luxury tax to get guys that are not guaranteeing her to win. That team, see, that's the thing where they're looking at, like, this is not a home run like a Kyrie or something like that. We are better, but you don't even look at this team as a favorite. When you have Kyrie, people would have viewed them as a favorite because of the level of talent. So this is why I don't think the Utah deal is going to happen if the Lakers got to take back money. I see it happening if they don't take money, but if they got to take back money, I don't see the Lakers doing that deal.
But I mean, no matter how you shake, even if they take Clarkson, they're still taking on, what is that? Because Clarkson's just under 14 million. Talking 1934, you're talking 40. I guess the money kind of comes even, but you gotta, like I said, what is that going to take from Lakers side? I agree. An option is for the Lakers to stand pat, and that is a real option. But if we're talking about like a trade, because that was the question, right? Like, do we think a deal is going to, if a deal is to get done, that's the deal that's going to be. Like, if we're talking about everything, yeah, Lakers could always stand pat.
I was telling Kareem earlier today that I really believe if we get something done with Utah, I think Bogey going to be out the deal. I don't think Bogey's going to be in the deal, because you can make that money work without the Lakers going over without Bogey. You just have to take different players. And that's another thing to justify not giving up the picks.
But then who do they take? Because, I mean, outside of, like, because Jazz aren't going to trade Vanderbilt. Like, if we're being honest, they're not going to trade Vanderbilt. Like, that was the prize.
Not? Hold on. Why not?
Because
when they first got Vanderbilt, I heard reports come out because teams was inquiring. And they were like, yeah, you can get him. They were saying you can get him for a first-round pick. So Utah was putting him out there then.
Yeah, but how much do we know that? You know what I mean? Like, of course, the report, the prize was Vanderbilt in there, especially to the Lakers. So what? You're going to give up both firsts now for Vanderbilt? Like, I love Vanderbilt. I think he's high, but like, the whole point of Utah's doing this deal. And look, before the Mitchell trade, because you got to remember, before, when Vanderbilt first came, that was before Mitchell was being talked about being traded. So it might have made more sense to move off of Vanderbilt then. Now you're full rebuild. Now you're the whole point is to move off the vets to get the young guys some play. So the thing has changed. And so that's something else too. But so I mean, the problem is, if you like, Bog is probably the best fit Utah has for the Lakers. You know, like Conley, I think is a really good fit, but salary wise, and the beauty of Bog is he's expiring. You know, so like I made a video earlier today talking about the possibility, and I don't think this is gonna happen. I don't, you know, it just was more of like people in the comments were like, could this happen? I was like, yeah, like the Lakers could swing a deal, which theoretically, like I said, I don't think it happens, but essentially the Lakers could work out a 3-team deal with the Pacers to get Turner. Now you could do so. Say you do Bog, Conley, and Beasley, reroute Beasley for Turner, and you know maybe a second pick, something like that. You know, if you could, I'm not saying it would happen. I'm not saying that. I mean, again, Pacers asking price is insane, but
I don't see them doing that.
But could it happen? Yes, the money matches up everything. Question is like, would the Pacers be willing to do that? But if you're the Lakers, it's like, hey, you get a young guy to pair next to Halliburton. You're probably gonna lose Miles Turner for nothing anyway. So might as well get something. Beasley's not 40, you know, he's what, 24, 25. So you get a young guy that can help you for your future, for your rebuild. Like that's something that I could see the Lakers, and if not the Pacers, like even maybe like the Knicks, maybe they try to like reroute somebody to get like a Cam Reddish, who supposedly he wants a change of scenery, you know. So there's potential for other movement, other involvement. I mean, even in the Lakers 3-team deal with the Jazz and the Knicks, Lakers were supposed to get back Reddish, Bogdanovich, and Evan Fournier. So maybe they can explore some workings of that. So there's options is my point. But I just like, if you don't do Bogdanovich, like that's my question. Who else are you getting in that's going to match salaries? That's going to that Utah's going to be willing to unload. Like I don't want Clarkson, Conley, and Beasley. You know, I think that's completely redundant personally. You know, but how do you feel about it?
No, I agree with you. Before I get into the takes, we got almost 400 people in here. We got to get the likes up. We got almost 400 people here. We got a guest with the Kareem and Elder show. We got Tyler here from As We Stand the Lakers. I know you guys gonna like his takes and subscribe to his channel. But I want to give J Sports a shout out for the super chat. He said his concerned Westbrook attitude. Once he gets sent to the bench, it's disgruntled. It bleeds the locker room. Keep up the good work, fellas. What y'all think about that?
I mean, it's a chance you take. I mean, you know what I mean? I think one thing I think about Russell Westbrook is he's going to be professional. I haven't seen really anything else out there, so I'm going to go with that. I haven't seen him do things that's not professional, so I don't expect him to. Now, will he be upset if he gets benched? Of course. I think any player that's a starter, been a superstar, they don't want to get benched. I think Darvin Ham is good enough as a coach. He's good enough as a communicator. That's one of the biggest things. He can communicate with the guys in the game today. And I think he'll be able to get his point across to Russ so that he don't have to do that. Because I can tell you now, Darvin don't want to do that. But if Russ pressed the issue and forced him to, he would. It's like any good boss or any good supervisor. You don't want to reprimand employees and do all that. You want them to do their job. You want them to follow your instructions. You see what I'm saying? So long as you do that, as long as we get that compromise, we good. Now, if you don't like the instruction, we disagree, that's when you start to want to move. So I don't think Russ is going to be that cancer that some people are concerned, because people forget Russ has goals too. His goal is to get that last contract, kind of like Chris Paul and them got, and the guy down in Miami got that came from Toronto. You know, Kyle Lowry. They want those. He wants one of them kind of contracts. You're not going to get that by arguing with your coach and being disgruntled and being, messing up the flow and killing the chemistry. You're not going to get it that way. So I expect Russ to be on his best behavior, just like I expect like a Kyrie to be on his best behavior this year. They want contracts. So you do what you told, and then you know what I'm saying? You do what you told, you follow the instructions, and that's how you get it, is what I'm saying. So
yeah. No, I'm with you. Look, I have been a huge, like, if you're part of my channel, you watch my video, live stream, stuff like that, I have been a huge defender of Russell Westbrook. I just think it's a bad fit. Like, people have recency bias. The dude was a 25-point triple-double with the Wizards, and him and Bradley Beal basically almost by themselves took them to the playoffs. Like, and the one game that Russ didn't play with AD and LeBron, the dude, he put up a 30, 14, and 15 game? Like, so it's still in there, that competitive drive. He's the only guy that played every game for us. The only games he didn't play were the games that the Lakers made him sit. He's shown up. He's gone to work. He's done his thing. I do believe Darvin Ham is going to get the most out of Russ. Russ seems to be fully bought into Darvin Ham. That dude is like, they're like brothers now, or like he's fought, like he's every time we see Darvin Ham, Russ is there. Dude, and the fact that Darvin Ham in his presser, his opening presser, was talking about Russell Westbrook, and not always in a positive light. And Russ is standing right there. And the fact that Russ was not in his head and agreeing, and he's relaying, like I talked to Russ, I told Russ what to expect. I told Russ it's a good sign that shows Russ is at least willing to commit to buy it. He needs to play for a contract. He's never going to be a $47 million guy again. But realistically, if he can prove like I can be that guy, he could be a $15 to $20 million guy just based on the contracts teams give. Like he's not bad to where he's going to get like, a taxpayer mid-level or something, but he's not good enough to be a max anymore. But there's a team out there that if he can show I can be this guy, I can work as a third option, teams are going to look at that as like, okay, well, what if he's the second option? We get him in like that mid-tier contract, the 15 to 18 million range, somewhere around there. So I do think Russ is going to come in. I think he's going to, have his good days. He's going to have his bad days. You get what you get. Thing is, Frank Vogel did Russ no favors last year. None. The entire point of the Lakers acquiring Russell Westbrook was for Russ to be Russ. How many times do we hear LeBron and Davis, Russ just needs to be Russ? When did you give him an opportunity to be that? How many times did we see Russell Westbrook, Rajon Rondo, and LeBron James on the court at the same time? Why is that even a lineup that's in your thinking wheelhouse? Or when Rondo left, it was THT, LeBron, and Westbrook. Again, how is that? The whole point of getting Russ was when LeBron's not in the game or LeBron is on the bench, Russ gets to run the show. Not be relegated to a spot-up shooter or just standing there, waiting for the ball for 20 plays. And then it's like, okay, get the ball. I need you to go score. It's like, I've just been standing here for 10 minutes. And now you want me to go get you 20 points? The dude still averaged 18, 7, and 7. Very inefficiently, very ineffectively in many ways. I'm not trying to say. You said what?
He shot 44% from the field.
Yeah,
which is his career average.
Yeah,
that's what he shoots in his career.
Like if you want, like he wasn't as effective as he's been in other situations, other teams. So the thing is, if Darvin Ham can just get him to average what he averaged last year, but effective and efficiently, which I do believe he will. I think the 4-out 1-in offense is going to be great for Russ, because Russ is going to be able to get ahead of steam, get into the basket, he's going to be able to be in the dunker spot. I think that's going to be huge. I imagine Darvin Ham runs Russ as a sort of sixth man. They probably start together for his ego and stuff like that. And then, LeBron goes and sits, AD sits at the 6-minute mark or whatever. And then it's Russ, it's your turn, go. I really believe he could get you 20 a game. If you just give him, 20 minutes of himself. And if he's playing great, then let him close out the game. If he's not, hey, dude, tonight's not your night. Sit down. Let's close this out. Let's go get a win. And I think Russ would understand that, especially if he's put in the position, because that was Russ's biggest gripe is like, you brought me here to do something specifically, but you never let me do it. Not just that, but in the beginning of the season, the first 2 games of the season, the Lakers ran the pick and roll with LeBron and Westbrook and Westbrook and Anthony Davis. And they ran it something like 9 times and scored 8 of 9 times. And then Frank Vogel just didn't run it again for 4 months. You had an effective, efficient play over and over again. Like, keep running it until it doesn't work. And he just didn't run it again. Never had Russ as the pick man. He literally just had Russ standing in the corner. No back screens, no nothing. I think Darvin Ham's going to get a lot more movement. He's going to get a lot more spacing. He's going to get a lot more. Just look at how they operated in Milwaukee. Giannis, and look, I'm not saying they're comparable players skill-wise, but a lot of the issues Giannis has, Russ has the same. And they were able to turn Giannis into a monster. Now, again, not fully comparable, but can they at least get Russ to be effective, which I do believe Darvin Ham can with the type of offense he's going to run, the 4-out 1-in. I think that's going to be huge for Russ.
I agree. You broke it down real good. I definitely like how you broke it down. But I definitely, me personally, I don't see the Lakers doing that deal without Bogdanovich. I think Bogdanovich, he helps us in big time, like especially down the stretch if we need to go small with AD, Braun, and Bogdanovich on the front line. I think the Lakers going to need that type of offensive weapon when you play against teams like the Clippers. I know people always like, oh, you always bring up the Clippers, but the Clippers got a lot of big, long, switchable guys, and you're going to need a guy like Bogdanovich, I think, to offset that defense, because all they're going to do is try to pack in. So you're going to need another guy that's who been in this league scoring already. I think Bogdanovich helped the Lakers in that sense. Him, the guy like Malik Beasley is real good. People don't realize how good Malik Beasley is. He could knock down a three, could drive. He could dunk on you too. People don't realize that. He got a nice step. I think if the Lakers feel that they got a great chance of winning. I know Elder said, as far as the money, they taking on all that extra salary. As far as Jeannie, because that's the first thing she did say. She complained about the salary. She said they was fourth in the league and salary. So I know that's on her mind. But with that team there, with Conley, Bogdanovich, and Beasley, I think the Lakers can do some damage. I think my prediction, I'm going to ask y'all prediction. I give it easy about a 5th seed. What y'all think?
You go ahead, Tyler.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I think about a 5 or 6 seed is where the Lakers are at currently. League injuries, things like that happen. You never know. You might maybe squeeze into the 4 seed, something like that. But I think Lakers are going to be more worried about being healthy, primarily LeBron and Anthony Davis, and just getting to the playoffs. Which, if that happens, I'll take my chances.
With Russ playing at best, without Russ, I think the Lakers would solidify a top 6 seed because that gets you in the playoffs without that play-in. I don't think the Lakers want to expend the energy that it takes to be like a top 4 seed. The West is really, really deep, and what you've seen in a lot of teams, especially if they got older players, if they expend a lot of energy in the regular season to win a lot of games, they go flat in the playoffs. You know what I mean? Unless they just deep. I believe that's what happened to Phoenix last year. I really do.
And that's what
happened with Phoenix.
I mean to cut you off, but that's what Phoenix people said.
His coach said that. I heard him say it. He said we'd have been a better team if we'd have won 55 games instead of 62. And I think the Lakers have been knowing that for a while. LeBron's been knowing that for a while. So I don't share y'all's sentiment with this offense working for Russ. Because for one, he's not going to be in the same position that Giannis is. They're not going to put the ball in his hands like they did for Giannis because you're taking it out of LeBron's. And that makes your team weaker when you take it out of a guy like LeBron's hand. And then I think secondly, they'll be putting it in Anthony Davis' hand before they'll put it in Russ's hand. So, and I don't think you can trust Russ like you can trust Jrue Holiday. You know what I'm saying? I just don't. I don't think you can. He's much more efficient. He's your defensive stopper. I mean, he does a lot more than what Russ can do. So I don't see this working for Russ if he's, hanging out in the dunker spot or if he's shooting over into the 3 in the corner. I don't see it being as productive for Russ. Shooting threes, even from the corner, is just still not his strength. Hanging out in the dunker spot, he's had major problems last year finishing the ball. You know what I mean? So I don't see it. And I think the only thing that works for Russ, and then when I look at his field goal percentage, like he had one outlying year in Houston where he shot like 47%, right? Now he shot horrible from the 3 that year, like 26. But from the field, he shot 47, averaged 27, and that speeded up Mike D'Antoni offense. That's the only reason that looked good. If he's not in that type of scenario and situation where you're putting the ball in his hand, just letting him go with a bunch of young guys play D, I don't see Russ being successful. So I don't share y'all's sentiment with this offense working for Russ because to me, his skill set don't fit it. He's not Jrue Holiday. Jrue Holiday can shoot the ball. Jrue Holiday is a very smart, intelligent player. Russ ain't that, in my opinion. He's not. He's an extremely athletic guy. He's high energy, but he's lazy defensively. He's out of touch. You know what I mean? Like we were talking about it earlier. Me and one of my guys, how in the bubble, the Lakers just knew let Russ. He'll shoot him out, and he did. They won that first game, but after that, none of those games were competitive, bro. And the majority of it was because of Russ. Russ, anything they tried to do, Russ would take 2, 3, 4 bad shots, 2, 3, 4 bad turnovers. Then he'd make a play and then he'd rocking the baby. I'm like, bro, you don't understand. You're the baby that's been put to sleep and burped and everything already. And you're down 30 and you're rocking the baby because you made a layup finally after missing like 6 shots. Stop, bro. So the guy like Russ, to me, his mentality don't even fit. Because to me personally, from what Russ has said, it's not me assuming or speculating. Winning is not the most important thing to Russ.
Oh,
It's
it's
just
not.
not. Winning a championship is not the most. I don't see a guy like that just don't fit in LA. Because if you in LA, bro, you need to want to win a championship more than anything. If that's not what you desire, you're really on the wrong team. Go across the hallway or go up the road to Sacramento. You know what I'm saying? But this is not the team for a guy that has interest. Because even with LeBron, let's just keep it real. LeBron got a billion interests, right? But boy, when he on that court, you can tell LeBron want to win, bro. LeBron is serious, and then he does everything off the court to show you he wants to win. And I don't see it working. I really don't. He is like my man Tyler said earlier. He's just a bad fit. And
Yeah.
when something is square, you're never going to make it fit properly in a round hole.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work. So Russ should be gone. But I think because of the financial ramifications of it, I think we're going to end up keeping him. And if we do, I think it's a wash season. So that's why I said if Russ on the team, um, playing is like the max for us, in my opinion.
Can I?
Read the cash app, the super chat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and read that.
You could do it, Tyler. It doesn't matter.
Oh no, I just wanted to ask Elder one thing. Could I? Do you mind if I add
Yeah.
real quick? Sorry. Here's the thing. Like, I agree with everything you're saying. My only thing is like, how much is LeBron, AD, and Russ going to be on the court at the same time? Like, I don't see them sharing the court a lot. I think they start the game, and if Russ is really good, maybe they close it. I think Russ is going to be our sixth man. I think he starts, for the first couple minutes or whatever, but I think that's it. I think a majority of the game, Russ is going to be on his own with the other young guys, and they're just going to run. And then LeBron will come in. So that way, LeBron is LeBron. LeBron gets to be LeBron. LeBron gets to run the ball, like you said. Ball's best in his hands. Even Darvin Ham himself said that. If LeBron's on the court, the ball's in LeBron's hands, which is right. That's why I don't think Russ is going to be on the court when outside of the first 5 minutes or whatever of the start of the game. I think that's it. I think, and then Russ, LeBron and West and Anthony Davis go and sit. Russ gets that 3 minutes, 4 minutes to himself, comes out, gets some rest. They put Nunn in or something like that. And then you have Nunn, LeBron, and Davis start the second. LeBron comes out, Westbrook goes in. I think that will be what Darvin Ham is going to do. You'll almost never see Russ and LeBron on the court together other than the first couple minutes. And if Russ is balling out, why take him off the court? Leave him on the court. But outside of that, I don't think they're going to play together very much. At least that's how I see it. What do you think?
We'll see. I mean, we'll see. It sounds great. But we'll see. I saw a lot of Russ without them guys last year because they were so hurt on the court with those other guys. And he looked like trash to me. He just looked horrible. His decision making, his attitude. Now, again, the team was horrible. It may be a greater environment that may get a little bit more production out of it. I just still think he's a square peg trying to get into a round hole. I really do. And again, I'm with you. I'm not bashing Russ saying he don't have value because he do. He just, when you've been doing this for 14 years the way Russ has, I think it's a lot to ask this man to adjust his game this much when he's been a 1 or a 2. Really a 1 or a 1A. He's never really been a 2. He's been a 1 or a 1A on every team he's been on. And to try to get him to adjust to be a 3 or a 4, I don't think it fits. It doesn't fit him. It doesn't fit the team. And the accolades mean zero. It really means nothing because he's not playing at a Hall of Fame level. And if you watch his stats since Houston, everything's been going down. Even though he got a triple-double in what's the name, that was 22, 11, and 11. Then he went down to 18, 7, and 7. And then we talking about putting him in the dunker spot. We talking about letting him run part-time because LeBron's still going to play 33 to 35 minutes, even if you take his minutes down with Darvin Ham. So how many minutes does that give Russ by himself on the court? 15, 18? What kind of production are we going to expect from that? I'm not expecting Russ to get out there and put 20 points up every 20 minutes that he plays. He's never done that. He's never been that type of efficient guy. So I don't have those level of expectations out of Russ on the Lakers. Now you move him to a team where he can be the point, put him with some dogs that can run. Like put him on Charlotte, I can see that. Put him on the Knicks. I can see that because old boy has shown me on the Knicks, Brunson, that he can play with a ball dominant player.
I said the same thing. I
Yeah,
said
so
Russ would be perfect on the Knicks.
he'll be perfect on the Knicks. He'll be perfect on Charlotte. He will be really good still in Washington, even though they got
That's my
Monty
number
Morris,
one place.
Yeah, he'll be
My
good
number
in
one place
Washington.
for us.
There are teams that he has high value on that can help you get to the playoffs. Because see, those teams, let's just keep it real. We're being honest. None of those teams have championship aspirations. They got to say that at the beginning of the year, but when they look at that roster and know what they got together, they have no true goals of winning a championship. So their goal is to get to the playoffs. You think I'm satisfied as a Laker fan or that front office of just getting to the playoffs? That means nothing to the LA Lakers getting to the playoffs. Getting to the playoffs means nothing. If we're not in the finals with a chance to win, bro, we not happy. And I don't see Russ giving us any opportunity to do that. That's why I just think he's bad for the Lakers. But because of the financial ramifications of the things that are going on, and the way I've seen these Lakers for years, I don't see Jeannie Buss taking on no salary for these guys. There's no guy on Indiana. There's no guy on New York. There's no guy on San Antonio. There's no guy on Utah that I think Jeannie Buss sees and says, that guy's worth me taking on extra salary. That guy's worth me writing a check for $25 million. It's just not. So I don't see it happening. That's why I don't have faith in it going down, because people say, oh, all you talk about is the money. Well, it's a business first and foremost.
Yeah, of course.
Money matters. It matters more than the players on the court. For most people that don't really understand it, it does. These people don't make decisions like that. They make decisions that are business decisions first and foremost. And Jeannie said, hey, look, you forced me to do this, LeBron. Live with it. You got 2 years of it. Now we can get out. Great. If not, I'm not going to spend more money on it. Because that had to be. Think about this. How would you feel if you spent the money that Jeannie Buss spent last year and you didn't even make the play-in? You were 16 games under 500. And I don't understand. Like, people defend Russ and, everybody, he's taking too much of the heat. Everything's been blamed on him. No. The Lakers had a lot of issues last year. A lot. They changed the front office. They're not meddling. They're not meddling with the coaches. Oh, that's right. We got a whole new coaching staff. This coach was allowed to pick his whole coaching staff, and you've heard no meddlings with front office with this coaching staff. Our players was too old. They had too much offensive. Guess what? We got young and defensive-minded players now. Why is it that we can change every issue that the Lakers have had from last year's horrible, worst team ever that's ever been in LA, but not Russ? And he was part of the problem. So I just think we should have went all out to get rid of Russ. I really do. And I think that in itself gives us a much better chance to win a championship if he's just not on the roster, flat out. Now, we can get something back for him, great. But if he's on that roster and he got to play those minutes, as you're going to respect him as an all-star and all this history that don't mean nothing to the Lakers, we in trouble. That's how I feel.
I want to read the super chat. Dario, thanks for the super chat, bro, for supporting the show. He said, how many minutes will the 9th to 15th player on the roster will get to rest the starters? Y'all can answer that.
Not very. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Actually, if their system works the way they want to work, like when you go look at what Milwaukee did, nobody played more than 33 minutes. Nobody. So 10, 12 guys got a lot of minutes. 15th guy, no, but I can see 10 to 12 guys getting minutes. And I'm not saying consistent. I'm not saying we're going to have a 12-man rotation. But I'm saying, in a nutshell, you have to space that out. These games benefit these guys. Let me get these guys minutes this day. These games benefit these other guys. Let me get them more minutes this day. But in a culmination of it, 10 to 12 guys should be able to get meaningful minutes, meaning 5 to 10 or more minutes is what I'm saying. If you're going to do it right. That's why you have to have depth to do what you do. They get out there, they play hard, go sit. They get out there and play hard. Like, I like the system that they have in place to load manage the guys literally during the game instead of sitting them, playing them hard for 40 minutes, then let them sit out a game and miss. Load manage them during the game. That's what I think.
I agree. So, like, even from what Darvin Ham said, he said the vets are going to have nights off. The vets are going to play fewer minutes. So if it's anything like Milwaukee, number 9 through 12, like first off, how many guys are going to be on the Lakers? Usually Lakers like to keep 14 guys just because they like to have that spot in case of the buyout. So the last 2 guys are probably never going to see the court, or if they do, it's usually like when 4 or 5 guys, like say Beverly, Davis, and LeBron aren't playing, and maybe, somebody else is out, then yeah, those guys probably see play. But most likely we'll probably run anywhere from like a 9 to 11 man unit. We'll have the starting 5, whatever it is. Let's just say Russ, Bev, LeBron, Davis, and Bryant, and then that'll be swapped with like Nunn, Reeves, Walker, Damian Jones, and then, whoever, so, and then that'll be the rotation. Then, here's a guy here and there that'll get some playing time. So Lakers will likely run anywhere from 9 to 11 guys night in and night. So
I'm not laughing at you, Tyler. I'm looking
no.
at the super chat there, and this guy, Paul Theory, he's loyal. We love him to death. We do. But boy, he hates Pelinka.
Well, read the chat.
He said, Paul Theory, appreciate the super chat, my brother. We
Appreciate
truly
it,
do.
bro.
He said Ham and Pelinka destroyed the team with Russ Love Fest. He had a thing last week he said fire Ham. We like, bro, he ain't even coached the game yet.
Yes, yeah.
And he already calling for him to be fired, bro, just because he likes Russ. He's got this love fest for Russ. He said it's over for us. Oh, just funny. Man, we appreciate you, Paul, man. We do, bro.
Appreciate you,
so
Paul.
much.
So I want to
All
ask
loyal
you
too.
guys
Good fan,
about
man.
Kendrick Nunn. How you feel about Kendrick Nunn? Do you think he's healthy? Because one report say he's not. He came out and said he's healthy. What you guys think about Kendrick Nunn, and what type of impact you think? Because people forget how good Kendrick Nunn is. So what do you guys feel about Kendrick Nunn?
I absolutely am super high on Kendrick Nunn if he could be healthy. I have made several videos talking about how people are sleeping on Kendrick Nunn. People forget Kendrick Nunn, he averaged 14 points a game during the regular season and bumped it up to 20 a game as the starting point guard on the Miami Heat in the finals. Dude isn't afraid of the moment. Guy shot 38% from 3 the last time he played. Again, not saying that they're comparable skill-wise, but Kendrick Nunn could be our Kyrie light. The whole idea of Kyrie, the guy that can shoot anywhere on the floor, get to the paint, play on the ball, play off the ball, that's Kendrick Nunn. Obviously the skill sets, there's obviously some difference, but again, as your third guy, Russ off the team, Kendrick Nunn is our third best player. And very likely, even out of all the other trades, like if Russ ends up moving off Thane, he's still our third best player. He might be our third best fit-wise. I think Russ is better than, for removing our biases. I think Russ is still better than Nunn as a whole. But fit-wise, I think Kendrick Nunn is perfect. Like, if he can stay healthy, of course, there's, the reports of, Lakers Nation had the report where it was like, the progress is slower than whatever. But, like, everything that Kendrick Nunn has said, and he's even said his doctors have given him the green light, and people are like, well, why hasn't he played 5-on-5? It's still preseason. Like, outside of like LeBron and a couple guys playing in the Drew League, playing in, crossover stuff like that. And even then, they're not playing. They're just there just for show. Like, they're not going hard. Like, now, if we get into training camp and Kendrick Nunn isn't running the 5-on-5 drills and stuff like that, okay, there's a cause of concern. But if he's correct and he is 100% and he's ready to go, then I think he's going to make a huge impact. Now, within reason, but I think he's gonna, I think he'll help us win games that we probably wouldn't have won, like without him, at least a handful. So,
Jonathan Neely, we appreciate you, my brother. Thank you for the super chat. He says, I agree with Elder 100%. Dario Valenza, thank you too, my brother, for the other super chat you put in there. He said, in the past, I've had Nunn on my fantasy teams. All right. I agree that Nunn, if healthy, it would be major. I always talk about how he's a 3-level scorer. He's a plus defender. I mean, he's just not going to hurt your team. He can score from anywhere on the court. I don't think he's healthy, though. I don't believe the reports that he is healthy. Of course, if people saying you're not, you're going to come back and say it. But if you are healthy, I don't know why you're not out there playing 5-on-5. you need to get it. But maybe he's that bone bruise we heard. I forgot how it was, who came on here or whatever. But we heard that thing sometimes could take up to 2 years to heal.
Yeah,
That type of
he
injury,
said the
yeah, can
bone
take
on
yeah
bone.
the bone on bone can take up to 2 years. And I think he's still hurt because the Lakers seem like they want to move him. Kind of like you could tell they wanted to move THC this year. I kind of get the same vibe from the Lakers that they want to do a deal where they can include Nunn. And to me, if Nunn is extra healthy, why am I so interested in Conley? See, I don't have that high interest in Conley. If I got Pat Beverly and I got Nunn, I don't think I really have to have Conley back. I know you got to have at least 3 point guards, but still not at that kind of money. So I really believe the Lakers, like again, the deal you were putting there, if that's the deal, none has to go in that deal. So it makes sense to me. But yeah, I think he's not healthy 100%, and I think the Lakers know it. So I think that's why they're trying to move him. I think that's why they're more motivated to move him in a deal because $5 million is nothing. You know what I mean? If you got a healthy guy that has proven what this guy's proven on the highest level, I wouldn't want to move him. Only way I want to move him if I know he's not 100% going to be able to play for me. Then I'd want to get rid of him. So I think he's still hurt. Honestly, I think he's still hurt. He's not 100%. He can't do what he wants to do, and we'll see though. We'll see. I hope he is because boy, man, Nunn, he'll put pressure. He gonna take some folk minutes, and Nunn ain't no joke. I like Nunn. I like him a lot. Yeah.
I think that's tough having 3 small guards. Nunn, 6'1", Mike Conley 6'1", and he's real slender, and Pat Bev. I think that's like how you gonna play them guys. I guess you could probably get away with Nunn and Pat Bev in the backcourt at times.
They just play so big, those two that you just named, and then you got a super smart one in Conley. You know, think about it. When have you just seen Conley get abused? You know what I mean? God just take him, even though he's little. When have you just seen a guard just
grit and grind Grizzlies?
Constantly overpower him and just the guy's so smart. Even when you try, he's got tricks of the trades. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not concerned about their size like that. And then again, I'm not trying to run all 3 of them out there at the same time either. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to do them at the same time.
No, I'm saying like either 2 of them together.
But if you get Conley, I'm telling you right now, if you get Conley, I guarantee you Nunn is gone. We're not keeping Nunn. And we get Conley, we're not keeping Nunn. Because see, I know the Lakers feel like they can have LeBron, they can have Troy Brown, they can have Hillbilly Coley, Austin Reeves. All these guys, they feel like can handle that ball from that position if we get in a pinch. You know what I mean? If something happens where a guy's hurt, now we're struggling at the point guard, we can move any of them guys there and play that same position. So I don't think they feel like they have to keep 3 guys at that position. I don't think so.
Yeah, but who would you rather trust? You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing about Conley. If you get Conley, one, you could start because the whole thing is like has said for years, I want to play off the ball. I don't want to handle the ball. You get a guy like Conley, you could start Conley, Beverly, and LeBron because both guys could play off the ball if LeBron has the ball. They both are great 3-point shooters. Mike Conley, he's not going to mess up. He takes care of the ball. He's smart, like you said. So you could have them. So realistic, like if they get this, if this even happens, I think they probably start Conley, Pat Bev, LeBron, Davis, and Bryant. That's what I think it'll be. And it would be good because all 3 of Pat Bev, Conley, and LeBron could all play off the ball, but also handle the ball in a pinch. So you're kind of running a 3-guard lineup, but not really because you got the size in LeBron. All 3 could shoot. LeBron was a much improved 3-point shooter last year. So I don't think that's a big deal. And then Nunn's the guy off the bench, where you have like Nunn and Walker come in as your first. You could have Reeves. And I don't think it would be a big deal. I mean, there are concerns, absolutely. And I'd be lying if I said there wasn't because we just have so many undersized guards. Like all of our players are like 6'4" to 6'6", like from Troy Brown to, you know what I mean? So like we're definitely, but the good thing is like I'm sorry, what'd you say?
We need wings.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The only, I guess, bright side is like Walker. He has like a 6'10" wingspan. So yeah, he's 6'4", but he's got, size, like length. That's good. Troy Brown, I believe, is like 6'9", 6'10" wingspan. So they're small, but they're big in that regard. Patrick Beverly, as little as he is, he plays much bigger. He plays bigger than some 6'8" guys in the league. Okay. So I don't think
it down good. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think if we're going to be good defensively, we're going to be good because of the team defense of schemes, not because of, individual guys are really good defensively. I think it's that, we're going to have a system in place where we're just getting after the ball. And that might be good because of the young guys. And I mean, that in comparison to the Bucks, although they have Drew Holiday, who might be the best on-ball defender in the league, and Chris Middleton, but still the thing that makes their the thing that makes their defense so great is the team defense, because they're able to mask guys like, Brook Lopez. Yeah, he can block shots here and there, but come on, he's not very mobile. He's not a guy that's, chasing guys on the perimeter. So, I mean, it's the collective of the defenders. And I think that's what we're going to be looking at for the Lakers if they're good defensively. I think it's going to be a collective thing. But
so we got a couple Cash App guys. Yeah. They said, what you guys think about the Pacers deal with both picks? That's from Jonathan. Appreciate you, bro. So and then after y'all both talk on about what y'all feel about what Jonathan said, we got the next Cash App. The next super chat here that y'all can touch on.
I just said I think we should hold out till February to see what Ham does with this roster. I'll go from the back to the front. I don't agree with the holding out thing. I don't think it gets easier to move Russ. I don't think it gets easier to make a trade during the season. $47 million is a lot of money. It's easier to do that when your rosters are not set and you can move multiple players, because it's going to take multiple players to do $47 million. I think going into it hoping that, because when people say that, the most thing that come behind that is, well, if a star gets disgruntled, I can't go into that. You know what I mean? I can't go into it hoping that a star gets disgruntled. And then that star still, a lot of these stars don't make that kind of money. They still in the 30s or the high 20s. So you still would have to put another player or two, and it's just very hard. Teams are not going to give up 3 or 4 guys to take on Russell Westbrook unless the Lakers are talking about giving up those picks. And let's keep it real. If Russ is playing well, we're not talking about trading him. If Russ is playing horrible, which I think he would be, everybody's going to want the picks. Everybody's going to want the picks to take Russ. So you could have got this done and got more. You see what I'm saying? Waiting, to me, does not get you more. I've never seen that where teams wait, and then they get more. Ask the Pelicans about that. They'd have done the first deal, they'd have got a lot more out of the Lakers. Ask New Jersey about that. If they'd have done the deal earlier, they would have got a lot more out of Houston. You see what I'm saying? So, or out of New Jersey, I should say. Again, waiting, to me, I don't understand why people say they think that's better, because you got no past history that makes you think that. And then the first thing was, what was the first super chat about?
He said
2 picks for picks.
Again, because I'm gonna say this, because the Lakers value those players on the level they do, I'm not tripping if they do that. I'm just not. And because everything I've heard, they have Buddy at that level. They were willing to give up THT, Nunn, Wenyen Gabriel, and a first-round pick just to get Buddy Hield, from what I was hearing in the beginning, to make that money work. So they value him as a first-round player and was willing to give up young talent for him. So if he's worth a first, you telling me saving money, and which I don't know if the Pacers will let us do now, saving money, because that's how the deal was, what I heard in the beginning. Saving money and taking on old boy is not worth another pick. Taking on Turner is not worth another pick, because those two together only make $40 million. But Indiana's under the cap. So this wouldn't cost them nothing, eating $7 million of salary. And then everybody knows in NBA circles, if you eat salary, that's worth a first-round pick.
No, but it actually will help the Pacers, because now they got to be at a certain salary floor. So it helps them.
I don't think they're below the floor. I just don't think there's a difference. I don't think they're below the floor. I think they're just not over the salary cap.
No, I believe I don't think they're under the floor right now. I think they're under the floor right now.
If I'm not mistaken, they're 17 million under the floor.
See,
under the floor.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I remember reading something.
Like I said,
you're right. They're under the floor.
Yeah, like I said, though, teams that do that, they do that for one reason only. You can get a pick for eating someone's salary.
Yeah.
An $8-9 million salary, Kemba Walker, you get a pick for doing that. So if you're going to take this deal and you're going to eat $7-8 million in this deal to do it, you should get a pick for that. And that's why I said, if you value these players and they're going to eat some of that Lakers salary and do a 2-for-1, they should get the 2 picks. You valued old boy as a pick, Buddy Hield, and if you're going to save $7 million, $8 million, because for the Lakers, how much is that? See, that's what people don't look at. If they eat $7 million for the Lakers, that's $21 million for the Lakers. real money. That's worth a pick to me. And
Oh,
you get
it'd be a
and
trade
you get
exception.
yeah, and you getting Turner on top of that. You're getting Turner on top. So that's what I'm saying. The level that the Lakers value these guys, I would do that. But what they were saying before, THT, Dice, all that, bump them. I actually, honestly, I wouldn't even been talking to the Pacers. If they would have started off the negotiations like that, I would not have been returning their calls. I would not have. That's not dealing in good faith. That's not even trying to put a deal together. Because I'll ask the Pacers this. If they came with me with that, I'd have looked them in the face and said, you know what? Tell me one other team that's calling you right now, asking about Buddy Hield and Turner together. Name me that team. Because maybe I'll call them and we can do a three-way deal and get this thing done. Then tell me the team. And I guarantee you the Pacers ain't got no other team because no one else is looking at both of them. Maybe a team wants Turner. Maybe a team may possibly want Hield. No other team wants those two guys. And you trying to get all this from us? And I'd have been like, man, kick rocks, Pacers. And I'm from Indiana. Kick rocks, Pacers.
Yeah, the Pacers deal is, at least currently constructed, it's disrespectful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's no way you want us to take Daniel Tice, who, look, he would be a solid player. Problem is we would have 5 or 6 bigs. Like, he's not going to play. He's just going to be sitting there. And we're taking that salary. Like, you can't, like, okay, like, you want, it's either picks or Daniel Tice. What would you rather have? But not just that, they also wanted THT, which we don't even have anymore. So now what's going to happen? So it's like, yeah, the deal, I don't think that happens unless they figure out a way to lower their price. Maybe they use the Jazz as leverage and just say, hey, like, what else are you getting? You're clearing the cap, you're adding to the cap, doing that. I still don't think they should give up both picks for that. I know the Lakers value Turner. Like, I'm not big on Hield. And look, I think, and I don't know this for certain, this is just my thoughts, is that I think the reason they want Hield isn't because they really want Hield and they think he's going to be a complete game changer. I think it's that white whale. I think it's, we had a deal in place to get him last year. We should have got him, but instead we listened to LeBron and AD and ended up getting Westbrook. And so now it's like, look what we did. We still ended up with Buddy Hield. It still worked out. All is good, right? Like, Hield, you know what you're getting with Hield. And look, Hield is a great 3-point shooter, but what else does he give you? He's gonna give you 15 a game, but he's gonna give up 20. Like, that's a concern I have with that too. I just don't think it's worth both picks. And clearly the Lakers don't think so either, because they've been very adamant about it. And then as far as like the other super chat, which what was that? That was sorry, I'm blanking. What was the first one or the second one?
About waiting till the trade deadline.
Oh, trade deadline. Yes, thank you. Appreciate you. I don't think that makes. I think the deal either happens before training camp or it doesn't happen at all. Because look, either two things are going to happen. Either the Lakers are going to be good, and there's no point in trading Russ at that point because you might as well see what happens, or the Lakers are going to be terrible, and at that point, why? What are you going to get that's going to save your season? Nothing, unless the Nets just implode. And they're like, okay, fine, we'll trade you Kyrie for Westbrook and a first. Which, come on, let's be real, it's not going to happen. But unless that happens, they're never going to trade Russ because and even if they're like a mid-level team, like let's say they're like, they're teetering between the 7th and 6th seed, and it's like, well, yeah, like who's going to be available that's going to be good enough to guarantee them that 6th seed and make them better when you could just ride the season out. Hopefully you can win, 5 out of your next, 8 games or whatever, get the 6th seed, and then take your chances in the playoffs and just let Russ's money fall. It doesn't make any sense to do a trade at the deadline. And I see that comment a lot. Like, oh, why don't we just wait till the trade deadline? I'm like, for what? Like, it makes no, either Lakers are going to be good or they're going to be terrible. And either way, a trade makes no sense. So
I agree with you 100%. I've been saying that, man. Elder Book been talking about that. We have another Cash App. Go ahead, Elder.
Kidda, how you say that? Kidda LeBird.
Kidda LeBird, how you? Thanks.
LeBird, hey, salute. Appreciate you. He said, I hear you, brethren, but none of the players from Utah or Indiana on Kyrie level. Therefore, they aren't worth first-round picks. My only point. Now, Kyrie's skill level is definitely above those guys' skill level, but they bring things to the table. I'm not going to say that none of those guys are worth first-round picks. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that. But the collection of it, and again, it's like my man Tyler was saying earlier, it's a give and take. It's a give and take. It's a give and take. You can't just come and slam me with all the things that you think I need. What about what you need? You have needs like Utah. This is why people think the Lakers have an advantage. Utah has to move these players. And the easiest way for Danny Ainge to do it is to deal with the Lakers. That doesn't mean we're going to get a deal done. That doesn't mean that Danny Ainge won't be stubborn and say, you know what, I'll just move them individually. And I'll take less, or I'll take seconds. I'll take, again, if it don't work for all parties, trades just don't go down, y'all. That's why you see so many situations and scenarios where it sounds like this is happening, and then one little thing could happen and change up the whole entire trade. We had Reddish last year, remember?
Yeah.
We had him, y'all. And then the Knicks, after agreed upon deal, got greedy and said, "Oh, send us another second-round pick." For what? We're doing you a favor, moving a guy you don't want. And it killed the whole entire deal. You see what I'm saying? So you never know with these trades. But honestly, the way teams have tried to fleece the Lakers, the value, let me say it properly, the perceived value of these picks from all the GMs, and the Lakers got more incentive to hold on to them. And at the end of the day, the problem, I'm telling you, these guys that they're getting, they don't move the needle for the Lakers, in my personal opinion. My problem with the Lakers is they should, though, because the Lakers won a championship with 2 healthy superstars and a bunch of good role players. Get a bunch of good role players, and it gives you a better chance, is what I'm saying. You don't have a chance when you got this 3 so-called superstars when really one of them is not a superstar no more and don't fit. And you see what I'm saying? At least give yourself a chance. And on top of that, the Kyrie thing. The Lakers holding out, hoping they may get Kyrie. I think having these players makes it a lot easier because Kyrie's salary is lower. He's only making 36 million, 37 million, whatever it is, 38 million, right? 36 million, I think, 36.9, so 37 million. You put a couple of these guys together, that's his salary. That makes it easy to do that deal. That makes it a lot easier. Russ is making 10 million more. That means more people have to come from the other side. So if I can put together a Beasley and somebody else, if they ain't working to get Kyrie, teams may do that just for the fact that contract's expiring. I got flexibility now. We ain't winning no ways because think about it. If they trade Kyrie, pretty much they season the dump, right? They don't really have a chance. So why not get it to where the deal can be done feasibly? Where we just taking these players back because we're not going to win, but at least their numbers fall off my books. Instead of me having to give you 2 or 3 players I may not want to because the guy you want to give me makes 10,000 more than 10 million more than what Kyrie makes. It just don't, and to me that's a pipe, like Tyler was saying, it's a pie in the sky. It's much harder to do and to move these guys in the regular season. It's just much harder. It's much harder. It is. Unless you can get a superstar back. I mean, again, you moved old boy. Why? Because the superstar came back. And Ben Simmons. You move Harden because the superstar came back. A max player in Ben Simmons. It made it a lot easier. How many? I don't know. I don't see that. I don't see it. I'm with you, Tyler. If we don't do this deal now, it ain't getting done. We would Russ with the whole season. I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Paul Theory said Ham probably asked for Schroeder next. Bad coach. Paul, we appreciate you, brother. We sure do. We appreciate you, bro. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, brother. When Ham, hey, Paul, Paul, let me tell you something, brother. You know, when Ham does good. Now, hold on. Let me say this. I already made the statement about I'm not going to talk about the Lakers if Westbrook is on the team starting the season. But don't you let Ham get off to a good start, because as soon as Westbrook grown, I'm going to come give you the business, Paul Theory. I promise you. You've been on my boy Darvin for so long, bro. And the one person asked in the chat, how do I know this about Darvin? I've been knowing Darvin for years, y'all. I've been knowing Darvin since the mid-'90s. You see what I'm saying? So I understand what kind of man he is, what his character is. I just know how Darvin get down, bro. And if the Lakers, which I think they've done, give him free reign, he gonna run a tight ship. That's just what he does. And Darvin, I mean, he's one of those guys that when he come in the room, y'all, I'm telling you, he just take over the room. Everybody gravitate to him. He's that kind of dude. And what he says, he means. He ain't no BSer. When he say it, that's what's gonna happen, bro. So that's why I believe in Darvin Ham. And I was the first one on here on y'all that y'all heard. As soon as we knew that Vogel was out, I was like, they need to get Darvin Ham. They need to get my boy D Ham this job. He's been ready. He's been ready. He's been ready. He just needs the right situation. Now, this is what I hate too. That guys like this that's been around forever, they got to get a bullcrap job. Why couldn't he walk into a super team like like a good put together team like Steve Nash did over here with the Nets? Why couldn't he walk in there? No drama. Everybody want to be there. You know what I'm saying? He got
I
to
mean, it's
walk
still
into
the
all this
Lakers.
crap.
I mean, it's still the
Yeah.
Lakers. I mean, cool. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's.
Yeah.
I mean, as bad of a situation the Lakers are in, there are a lot of coaches that would be more than happy to go
Oh,
and
I
step
think
in.
most.
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah,
you know,
most
and
would.
I mean, Darvin.
Salute Greenlee.
4 years
Go ahead, my
ago,
brother.
so 4 years ago, there was talks about Darvin Ham getting a head coaching job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he comes from an incredible pedigree, like
Yeah.
of just basketball minds. He's won a championship as a coach. He's won a championship as a player. You know, a lot of people forget the 04 Pistons, and
They do.
that team was something else.
Rock on that team. He was a rock on that team.
And he's, I mean, I like, you just watch his interviews. Like, if you want to get a good understanding of Darvin Ham, watch his interviews. He's no nonsense. He's you know, he could be a cult leader the way he speaks, man. He's like, that dude is so charismatic and so like, I mean, but like everything, you're just like,
Yeah,
you're right. I will send you $100 right now. Like, the guy's incredible. So yeah,
Man,
I believe in him.
Somebody in the chat said they family from Saginaw not big on Darvin. I wonder why.
Dennis
I've
said
been around Saginaw, Flint, pretty much my whole all the way up to my mid-20s, bro. And I never heard people say negative things about Darvin. He always been a get it out of the mud kind of dude, get it done the right way, overachieve. Nobody thought Darvin Ham was going to be an NBA player. Even back then when we were playing in pro-ams together and he was in college, it wasn't. They didn't think he was going to be no NBA player, bro. He was undersized and all he had was hops. You know what I mean? That's what most people thought. But I'm like, no, this dude is smart. This dude understand. And he'll run through a brick wall. So, you know, it's just, I don't know. Maybe
Bro, you want to
Saginaw hate.
You want to read this question?
No, I don't. I'm not. If you want it read, you read it. No, I'm not reading nothing from loyalty, hating ass films. No.
No,
I ain't even looked at it. I already know it's some BS. I ain't even looked at it though. I saw the name. No,
he said, Kareem, what combination of players are better than Pat Bev, Kendrick Nunn, Lonnie Walker, and Russ? I'll wait on the bubble team. What you think?
All of them. KCP, Kuzma, Caruso, Danny Green, all of them was better. He said, what are better than this combination? Bev, Nunn, Lonnie, and Russ. All them guys I just named. Because them cats you got here in front of you, let's keep it real. None of them proving anything. Them guys in the bubble got it done. They're world champs, bro. So I'm taking them over these guys right now because they've gotten it done already. You want to do some on paper stuff. And to me, they don't even look better on paper, honestly. That group you just put there, they don't even look better on paper. And don't forget, Avery Bradley was starting for us that year, y'all. He was starting as our two guard pretty much. And didn't even go to the bubble. And he was our best perimeter defender that year. And we still won. I knew you was on some mess, loyalty. That's why I want to read that crap. I knew you was on some mess. Get out here,
a super chat.
XRP.
Right here.
I'll read this one. XRP boy Bradley. Salute, my brother. We appreciate you sending the super chat, man. Elder, from your perspective, why do you think Vogel wasn't ultimately successful after winning the championship with LA, and why will Ham succeed and not? Two big reasons. Ham will succeed because the Lakers are giving him the reign and they're supporting him. Vogel never got support. If we're being honest, Vogel never got the support. He was the fourth coach, right? He wasn't the 1, 2, or 3. He was a fourth option. And they didn't want him. I don't know who talked him into taking it, but you could tell from the way they dealt with Vogel, they never had confidence in Vogel. They never trusted him. Can anybody ever tell me about another time in the NBA where a coach wins an NBA championship and gets a 1-year extension? It never happens. Vogel knew he was a lame duck after that. He knew that they was maneuver, bro. So Vogel got a very raw shot. But hold on. Let me keep it real. Vogel was on the couch. Vogel was not a highly sought after coach at all, even for being a head coach or being an assistant. To my knowledge, nobody was asking for Vogel. So what the Lakers did was give him an opportunity that never would have crossed his door. So to get 4 years of salary, right, at 5, 6 million, 7, whatever he got, and then get a chip out of it, his name in history as a winning NBA coach, who else was going to give Vogel that opportunity? So I think it was a win-win. I don't like the way the Lakers treat him. I don't. If you're going to make the man the coach, support him. And I don't think the Lakers ever really did. But I can't complain because they gave him an opportunity that no other team was willing to give him. So that's how I feel about that situation.
Jason Kidd was the coach. They wanted Jason Kidd to be the head
You're right.
coach.
You're right.
As soon as and it showed. As soon as Jason Kidd left, that was it. The writing was on the wall. Jason Kidd was the coach of that team. And you know, however you feel about Vogel, as soon as Jason Kidd left, it showed how badly the Lakers needed Jason Kidd because nobody on that roster respected Vogel. Nobody. Jason Kidd was the voice in the locker room. Jason Kidd was the guy that ran the offensive schemes. Vogel was the defensive coach. He was basically the defensive assistant. Jason Kidd was the head coach. Vogel was the fall guy. He was the guy to go out there and say, "Yeah, you know, we suck. Yeah, sorry." Like that was who he was. Jason Kidd got all of the head coaching, but with none of the downsides. And then as soon as he left, that was it.
That's good shit, Tyler, because you're telling 100% the truth. And that's another reason why I know Ham's going to be successful. I said it earlier. A lot of these guys can't relate to these new players. Ham can. He can communicate. He's a very good communicator. You heard Tyler say earlier, this man communicates so well he could be a cult leader. Yeah. You know, that's funny to us. You know what I'm saying? Because I get accused of that sometimes myself, you know. But again, it's just true. When you're a great communicator, people, and they know you're a true leader, people will follow you. Vogel's not the leader. So Jason was, and that's why the guys followed me, had respect. When Jason was gone, it left. These guys will have respect for Darvin Ham. That I guarantee. They already do because they already know the path and the grind and everything Darvin's been through. It's been a long time coming for Darvin, for most of these players. So they will have a different level of respect. And let's keep it real. When you respect and honor somebody, you'll run through a brick wall for them. Nobody wanted to do that for Vogel, and you saw it implode last year. That's why I said it ain't just Russ's fault, but Russ was bad too. Quit taking him out of this equation. He played horrible too, y'all. He played horrible, and it ain't just because of Vogel and a bad situation. He had the ball in his hand a lot. He'd done a lot of stuff he wanted to do. He just played horrible. It wasn't Vogel making him miss them layups, shooting the ball side the backboard, throwing the ball in the fifth row. It wasn't Vogel doing that. That was him. So give him his blame too.
Russ definitely deserves blame. The only thing I will say about Russ, though, is like there's a lot of people that act like if we didn't have Russ, we were winning a championship last year.
No.
Like Russ wasn't the only reason. Like he was part of the problem, but he wasn't the main problem. Like it was a nightmare. Just in general, and even LeBron. Like as much as people like plays LeBron and he looked good because he had the score there, he wasn't that far behind Russ as far as turnovers go last year. The guy averaged almost as many as Russ. He was super inefficient. He didn't control games like he's always done. That's what I try to get across to people. And what like LeBron, his numbers look great, but if you actually watched LeBron, he shot more threes than he's ever shot in his career for a reason. Like LeBron before, he controlled it. He single-handedly could win you games and not even score the basketball just because he was so intelligent. He knew, okay, I'm going to kill this much clock. This guy's got – I mean, we've all heard the stories of LeBron telling players, oh, no, you're supposed to be over here. You know, your coach just called this play. You're going to go over here. He's going to come back here. You're going to you don't need to be there. You need to be here. You know, and like – all the story, just his IQ, it's incredible. And it's just LeBron is definitely not washed. But, you know, he didn't control games as much as he did last year. And maybe that was part of just like the disaster that it was. Whatever. But one way or another, LeBron needs to get back to being LeBron and control it. He's way too smart. He might be the smartest, however you feel about him in the rankings of GOAT or whatever, he might be the smartest player to ever play this game. Like hands down, like from the photographic memory and everything, like that dude. I mean, there's videos of him reciting plays, entire sequences years earlier, because this guy has literally a photographic memory when it comes to the game of basketball. Not very many people in the history of basketball have had that. So that's something that we need to see LeBron get back to because we're going to win a lot more games.
And like you said, that's not easy to do. So let me ask you this: you guys both, what is your opinion? What's your ideal scenario? The Utah trade, the Indiana trade, or keep Russ? Start with Tyler. What is your ideal scenario, and what type of damage do you think the Lakers can do with your scenario?
I think, assuming all things are currently as it is, because I think if the Pacers drop their asking price, I think the Pacers deal is probably the best deal still. But let's assume nothing changes. Like, Lakers have, here's your options today. I think the Jazz trade with only one first would be the best scenario. Beasley, Conley, and Bogdanovich, because Beasley and Bogdanovich, they can fall off next year because Beasley's on a team option. So they fall off. And if you can keep that first, you can move off of Conley if you need to, assuming Kyrie comes. If not, and Kyrie doesn't come, outside of Kyrie next year, there aren't really any game changers. Like, there's a lot of guys that are going to get heavily overpaid, like Miles Turner. You know, he wants 20 plus million a year. Why am I blanking on his name? From the Gary Trent Jr. Sorry, blanked on his name. Gary Trent Jr. He's probably, if he has a great year next year, he's probably going to opt out, and somebody's probably going to give him 30 million a year, which I don't think he's worth that, at least currently. But some team is going to see that guy who had more 30-point games last year than James Harden, Kevin Durant, and they're going to be like, he's still only like 24 years old, so he's going to end up getting paid. I don't want to see the Lakers just sign somebody to sign somebody. So I think the Jazz deal gives you flexibility for now and the future. I think it does make you better. Like Elder said earlier, you know, the Lakers won a championship with depth, rotation guys. I think you get that with this. You got a lot of guys on the team that can play multiple positions. Arguably our biggest issue last year was size. And I mean, obviously defense was a big thing, but when Anthony Davis went down, we had nobody else. Frank Vogel was allergic to Dwight Howard for whatever reason. DeAndre Jordan was unplayable, and LeBron was playing center. When LeBron is starting at center, there's something bad going on here. So the fact that we got some size, it's really big. So I think the Jazz deal, because I think the Jazz deal won't cost us both firsts. I think it gives us depth. It gives us shooting. It gives us, you know, a little more size. I think that would be the best deal. And then I think that realistically, I think that locks us into like a 5 or 6 seed. Pretty sure. Because even if Anthony Davis and even if LeBron James miss ample time, I think Conley's going to be good enough just from an orchestrator standpoint to weather the storm of not having LeBron James. And I think that with that depth, you'd have enough depth to win games that you wouldn't win otherwise. Like last year when LeBron didn't play, the Lakers were terrible. And so, yeah, the Jazz would be my best scenario. And I think the Lakers, if they do the Jazz deal, are probably the 5 or 6 seed.
So you think what type of damage you think in the playoffs that they can cause? Who would be the biggest challenge?
Look, nobody in the West, as much as people are high on the West, nobody in the West are world beaters. Nobody in the West is Kevin Durant on the Warriors. Everybody, if you watch the playoffs, and yes, some teams got better, you know, Denver, stuff like that. But they're like, you give me a healthy, dominant LeBron James. You give me a healthy MVP level that we know he can play. Anthony Davis, even the roster right now we have, I'll take my chances. Because you're going to have to beat us if LeBron James and Anthony Davis are healthy. And still, there's not a team in the league that has somebody that can stop Anthony Davis. There's not a team in the league that has somebody that can stop LeBron James. However you feel about LeBron and Anthony Davis, they're still arguably the best duo in the league. They just need guys around them that can kind of pick up the slack, do the dirty work. That's why the 2020 team was so good. You had LeBron and Anthony Davis to carry the load, and you had everyone else that knew their role and could just do the dirty work. If we can have that, I'll take my chances with the Lakers. Do I think they're realistically a contender? No. But if they won the championship, I wouldn't be like, no way. Like, I would be like, yeah, it's LeBron James and Anthony Davis. You know, like, so again, I want to keep, you know, perspective, you know, and understanding of what I'm saying here. But I think the Jazz trade, I like our chances. I do. I really like our chances. I think we'd have the depth. I think LeBron's got one more run in him at least. And yeah, and Anthony Davis again. If you get, but I think we go as far as Anthony Davis carries us. I really do. As great as LeBron is, he's older.
I agree.
I think Anthony Davis, if he's that monster that we know he can be, if we get bubble Anthony Davis, I think he's good enough with LeBron James and with the team we even have currently to carry us to the. We would have made the playoffs if Anthony Davis and LeBron James didn't get hurt.
Oh, ain't no doubt.
Last year, we would have made the playoffs.
No
now,
doubt.
would we have done anything? Probably not. But we'd have at least made the playoffs. So get us into the playoffs. I like our chances.
Okay. My ideal.
Dario, thanks for the he said LeBron's 50 turnovers behind Russ.
Okay. Yes, he did. Yes, sir. Appreciate it, Dario. Thank you so much, brother. Salute.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate the support, man. Really do. Y'all know y'all can hit that KAREEMLOUALLEN up too, that Cash App. You know, we'll read them from there too. That go directly to Kareem.
Oh yeah, because the Cash App it goes
directly to Kareem. KAREEMLOUALLEN. All right, y'all can hit that up as well. We'll read it on there as well. My dream scenario, if I had to pick this here, I'm definitely going through Utah. I don't value the Indiana players. I don't think it gives us the balance that we really truly need or the versatility with those two guys. We have guys that can do already what Buddy Hield pretty much does: chuck up a bunch of shots on a low percentage, and can shoot from three. Right. So I don't value them as much. And I do agree with what Brother Tyler said about this. You know, we missed out, so that's why they want him so bad. He's not as valuable because no other team values him at the level that the Lakers do for some odd reason. So I don't want the Indiana deal. I prefer the Utah deal. But me and the Utah deal, the ideal Utah deal for me, because again, I think one of the biggest issues the Lakers had last year too was their imbalanced roster. Their roster was very imbalanced last year. I think they've done a good job of getting younger this year. I think we need veterans to balance out this. I don't want 36 and 37-year-old veterans like we had last year, but I'll take 30 to 33-year-old veterans, right? So my ideal trade would be, of course, Russell Westbrook, and I'm sending William Gabriel. I'm sending a first-round pick, and I'm probably sending 2 second-round picks to the Utah Jazz. And I'm getting Conley, I'm getting Beasley, I'm getting Vanderbilt, and I'm getting Rudy Gay. Now, people say, oh, yo, blah, blah, blah. They got all this stuff. Rudy Gay, I like him for the simple fact he still has something left in the tank. He's very smart and wise. He can play multiple positions. He's a threat from everyone on the court. He can still hit threes, and he don't require a lot of minutes. You see what I'm saying? And he's on a 2-year deal. He's not on a 1, but his money's small. It's like $5-6 million bucks. So it's not really going to hurt me. Like, let's just say Kyrie becomes available. I can easily move Rudy Gay. It's not going to be a problem. If I need to move that to sign Kyrie, I can do it. The reason I want Vanderbilt is because I need to get some youth if I'm giving up a first-round pick. And I love his energy. I love his athleticism. I love his defensive mindset. And he's a person moving forward that can support Anthony Davis. You see what I'm saying? He's a backup to him. Now, offensively, I'm not getting much. But look on the Lakers. I don't need no offense. I really don't. I need guys that understand it from a defensive possession that can cover. Like a guy like Vanderbilt, when you really watch him, he could play D for 2 or 3 people. He really can. He could cover a couple guys while he's out there. His defense is that good. We need guys like that. And then when it goes to Beasley, I like him as a scorer. I like Beasley as a scorer. I think he's better as a scorer than like a Clarkson, even as Buddy Hield to me. I really do. I like him more as a scorer. Plus, I have flexibility with Beasley because it's a team option on that second year. He comes and balls out. We just keep him, take that option. We got him for cheap on the cheap for 16 million bucks. If he doesn't, I can get rid of him. If Kyrie comes available or somebody else, I can move him. I have the flexibility. And the reason I take Conley is because I do believe we need that veteran leadership from Conley. I think we need that not only to play, but for the young guards that we have. I think we need Conley for them. And then also we need that stable, quiet storm when LeBron is out of the game that can still get the ball to people right, still run the offense properly. You see what I'm saying? Conley brings that Rondo mantra to the table, in my personal opinion. He's on that same level to me. You see what I'm saying? And he's a better scorer than Rondo because he can shoot the ball. He's a great threat from the 40%. You see what I'm saying? So, and I don't have to play him a lot of minutes because in that deal, I still keep none. So I still got him, Nunn, and Beverly. So I got a very deep roster there, and I have a bunch of dogs. I got balance. I got youth. I got length. I got size. I got a good backup at every position. And then I told you earlier, Kareem, I really like our centers. I do. I like those two guys. I like those guys. I think when our boy Thomas Bryant is healthy, he's a double machine. And he's high energy. He's a stretch five. He can move to four if you need him to be a big four. You can do that. And then I love the athleticism and rim running of old boy and his Jones, and I love his rim protecting. So that's the roster that I would want. You give up 4 for 2. Lakers fill out their roster. They're good to go. I'm good with that. And I think that team right there would definitely be 6 or better. They would be in the top 6, which means, you don't have to go to play in. And I believe if that's healthy, we can beat anybody in the West and the East. I think that team could beat any team if we're healthy, playing at a high level, would beat, because you got to win, will beat any team in the West and the East. That's my personal opinion.
So I heard both of you guys. So you think that having Vanderbilt and Rudy Gay outduels having Bogdanovich?
Yes, because Bogdanovich, to me, again, he's a 4 really, but can play a little bit of 3, small ball 5. Behind Anthony Davis and them, I don't see Bogdanovich actually getting the minutes that he needs. And I think we need more. If I got Beasley and Conley, I need more defense than I do offense, in my personal opinion. I do. I think we do. I think it makes our team more balanced. And then here's the thing. Bogdanovich is one of these guys. He's playing for another contract. He's 33. This is probably going to be his last thing. So he has different motivations than other guys. Now, Vanderbilt, he's young. But guess what? I don't think Utah values him that way. So after next year, guess what? It's time to re-sign him. It's time to give him an extension. I don't think Utah wants to do that. I don't think they're going to be in a position where they can make that decision that he's part of the future. You see what I'm saying? Where they can pay him and just go. They could, but I don't see Utah wanting to do that. If they really valued him, they wouldn't have been putting him on the market when they first got him. So I don't see them wanting to pay him. So I like the fact that the Lakers could have him, and because he was a second-round pick, we can pay him. We can give him the money. Now, if we get somebody else, we don't have to worry about it, and he'll be easy to move. Like, say a Kyrie comes up and it comes down where we got to let Beasley go. We got to give a pick to move Conley, which say we do. We'll have it then, right? And then the other guys is easy to move. It's 6. Rudy Gay is 6 million. No boys 5, 4. You can move them guys like that. That's nothing. There's nothing to move those guys. They have value. You get something back, actually. You know what I'm saying? Maybe a second-round pick or something of that magnitude. But you have the flexibility that if something becomes available, you can make minor moves and you're there. And I like that. With Bogdanovich, think about it. He's like Turner. You think these guys want to come to these teams with just a lame duck? What if they get hurt? Turner, he's in a real bad situation. He's got an injury history. He gets hurt, it's over for him. He wants to come somewhere where somebody believes in him and wants to offer him an extension right now. He don't want to play as a lame duck player. Those guys have different mentalities when they get to these teams. And if they're not being showcased, they don't think they think their money's being hurt. If Turner comes over there and he's getting 5, 10 touches a game, you think he's going to be happy? Because what team is going to want to give him $20 million when he's only touching the ball that much? You see what I'm saying? So I look at the whole totality of it, the mindset of the players coming over. I think we got those 4 guys. They'll be happy to be there, and they will give their best to win the championship. The other guys would, but they'd have other motivations on their mind. Buddy Hield will be fine because his contract is set. But Turner, I don't think so. And I told you already, I don't want 4 centers. I don't want that because Anthony Davis is still a center. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't need 4 centers on the team, bro. I don't want that. I don't want that. And I don't see Miles Turner being the guy that can step in. Honestly, this is what I really, truly believe. If I have a healthy Thomas Bryant and a healthy Miles Turner, if AD goes down, I think I would get just as much or better production. Not AD level, but I'm talking about I would get better out of a healthy Bryant than I will Miles Turner. I believe that. I think he's a better shooter. I think his energy is higher. I think it's clear he's a much better rebounder than him. Because that's a big negative of Miles Turner. He don't rebound the ball well for his size. So I'm good with Thomas Bryant. I'm good with Thomas Bryant. So I don't really like the Indiana package. I don't like it.
Wicked said, Elder, you're a genius. Thank you, Wicked, for the cash app.
Appreciate you. Lakers over everything. What's up, man? Y'all subscribe to that channel if you haven't subscribed already. And also, our special guest, as it stands, he has an incredible YouTube channel, y'all. I mean, incredible. One of the best Laker channels out there. Would you agree, Kareem?
Yes.
He's one of the
Thank
best. Y'all gotta go subscribe. I mean, you talking about in-depth, real good, informative content on the Lakers. Passionate. The brother is good. I'm so glad to have him on the show today. The brother's good. We've been admiring this brother from afar.
Yeah, because it's true. Because we saw, was like, yo, because he
This
talks
dude,
just like how we've been on here.
yes.
Tyler, you might not be familiar with Man Elder. Man Elder, we up to episode 39, but the way how you communicate, we've been communicating like this through the people. Our goal for the Kareem and Elder show is to enlighten people, to teach them the in-depth of the game. So a lot of people
Educate
just
him.
think trading this player for that player. We go to the meat and grit of a trade, inside a trade, not just for one team, organizations. Why a team doing this? This team may be in a rebuilding mode, different things like that. So we really get in depth with it. And so when we saw you do it, we was like, wow. So I want to give a shout out to LA Sports Live for having you up there.
Yeah, that was very
LA
nice.
Sports Live had you up there. It already, you know what I'm saying? See, a lot of people subbing to you. So you're getting a lot of subs from this channel here, which is great.
I appreciate that. Yeah, no, it was I mean it was surprising, like this YouTube experience. And then so like I have the Lakers channel as it stands, but what started was I started as it stands, which was just a sports channel. And I just like one day posted a video. It got like 100,000 views, and I'm a Laker fan, so once as it stands started growing, I was like, well, I don't want to just talk about Lakers on this channel. I'm a football guy, love football, love basketball, love all that stuff. So I was like, oh, Lakers are my team. Let me create the as it stands Lakers. And then that's where this happened. And I mean, the reception's been unbelievable. I mean, the views, the subscribers, I believe I hit 3,000 subs today, and I started that channel like a month ago. I think it was a month.
Oh, you start a month?
Month ago.
The Laker channel, it was like a month, maybe a month and a half ago. As it stands, which that one has like 5,300 subscribers. I think I just hit 5,300 today. That channel I started like 2.5 months ago, 3 months ago, something like that. It all started from one video. I posted a video. It was what was it? It was like right when when the Suns, like there was that reported Suns, I believe it was the Suns, the Lakers, and the Nets trade. It was like a 3-team deal. I like talked about it, gave an in-depth breakdown. It was like a 20-minute video, and that video got like 130,000 views. And it just started taking off. So I was like, wow. So I just like shifted focus to making videos every day. And I have a goal. I mean, obviously we're all doing YouTube. The goal is to be successful at this, to be a face and a fixture in the community and stuff. So I'm willing to work hard for that. I'm willing to, that's why I post every day. I post several times a day. Like if there's news, I try to stay on top of it. I try to keep my biases out as much as possible. Of course, I'm a Laker fan. Sometimes it bleeds in, but I try to be as even keel and have a realistic perspective as possible, which I think people appreciate. But the As It Stands channel really started doing well. And so people wanted me to keep talking about Lakers stuff because they like hearing my perspective. And I was like, well, I don't want to like niche myself into just the Lakers, because I don't, YouTube, like you see niches, you see certain things, you don't really know how big you're going to get. So I was like, let me do a separate channel, did the Laker channel. And that is on pace to be the biggest thing I have right now, which is incredible. And this community has been incredibly supportive especially with the As It Stands Lakers channel. It's been a blessing. I have no complaints. I'm blessed. I have people like yourselves reaching out to me like, hey, come on. I mean, what more could I ask for?
Yeah, it's great. So you got 2 channels basically.
Yes, I have As It Stands and I have As It Stands Lakers.
As it stands, you talk about different things.
Yeah, so As It Stands, I mean, basketball is how I started because we were just in the heart of the season or the off season. And then now I'm starting to pivot into some football and stuff like that. Like, because I was like, oh, if I'm going to start a sports channel, I'd like to be able to talk about a little bit of everything. And, because I'm a fan of a little bit of everything. And so, I didn't want to just talk about Lakers on that channel, but then like all the Kyrie stuff and things like that were happening and stuff. People were liking my breakdowns and my takes. And I was like, okay, like I'll just keep, the As It Stands banner and just make an As It Stands Lakers channel, and so I was like, cool, let me do that. And then I started the Lakers channel. Like I said, I want to say my first video was like a month and a half. It couldn't be more than 2 months because I was only a month. I was only a month into As It Stands when I started the As It Stands Lakers channel, and it just took off as far as the Lakers. And I mean, even now, like every video I post gets like 10,000 plus views. It's insane. It's insane.
That is insane because, like you said, if you never was on YouTube and just popped up with it, what you think it is besides your takes? What do you think it is that you get? You think the word, because it's like you do like your graphics. I think your graphics really like catchy. Like when you like post a video, your graphics and yeah, I think that's really like eye catching. You think that plays a major part of it?
It's a combination. So like I'm not new to YouTube. I'm new to like the sports space. As far as that goes, I have another channel that I've had for a couple years called Fate Decided, and I have this community and like we have all this like collective stuff. It's actually a really cool thing. But so I have like a couple years of experience with YouTube and like analytics and I'm a big numbers guy. I mean, just watch my videos. I'm always talking about statistics, stuff like that. So I really look into analytics because YouTube tells you everything you need to know. You just got to be able to look at it and read it. Yeah. And so I'll look at like what are the keywords that are being searched because YouTube will tell you, and everything from your description to like the tags, at the end of the videos to like the tags in the description that you put on to your title, all impact your videos as well as
learn that.
Yeah, as well as the thumbnail. Like so the thumbnail is a big thing too, even words on your thumbnail, because YouTube's algorithm reads all the metadata and then it classifies you into certain situations. And then once you get on the right side, like I said, right now, I knock on wood, I can't miss on a video. Like everything I put out right now is just blowing up like wildfire. But the problem is I'm small because like I said, I just started it. But like I don't know if I'm just in the right space on the algorithm. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you just find that wave and just ride it as long as you can. So that's kind of what I'm doing right now is I for whatever reason, YouTube's algorithm picked me up. And so like I am just kind of riding that wave. This time next month, maybe it cools down a little bit. The goal is hopefully have enough subscribers by then to where it doesn't cool down and I'm still getting the views that I'm getting now. But it's just, there's a lot that goes into YouTube as a whole. It's finding that space. And the thing about, because the Lakers channel, like I said, is doing better than even the As It Stands channel, but it's because the As It Stands channel is all over the place. Talking football, I talked WNBA the other day, stuff like that. Some of those videos do good, some of them not so good. When it comes to the Lakers channel, YouTube knows this is just a sports Lakers channel. So YouTube, it makes it easier for YouTube to put out my content because, my audience was built on As It Stands for basketball. So if I talk about a football video, YouTube's like, well, all these people, unless you're looking up football videos, it's not going to recommend it to you. It's going to try to find that new audience, but I'm not big enough to tap into that new audience yet. But where the Lakers, every single title is Lakers. Lakers this, Lakers that, Lakers trade, Lakers this. So YouTube knows, okay, I'm going to send his video to everybody that's looking up the Lakers, everybody that's watching the Lakers, and everyone that's watching the NBA. So it's a much bigger pool of people rather than, if I'm all over the place. That makes sense.
So you said having words on the thumbnail is important too?
It can be. Obviously, a description or a thumbnail period. Like, here's the thing. So, like, none of us are, we're small fishes in a giant ocean. So, the thing is like, if you could, just for example, so if you put a thumbnail of, like, say, you two on the thumbnail, you're not going to get as many views as if you put a video of LeBron on your thumbnail because a lot more people know LeBron than you two. You know what I mean? Like, same thing with me. Like, if I put a video of my face, like, like people are gonna be like, who is this goofy guy? Like, you know, like I ain't clicking on this goofy video. But if I have a picture of, you know, Westbrook in a Utah jersey, and you know, I say, you know, Westbrook being traded to Utah question mark, you know, because there's talks about Westbrook being traded to question mark. That's a lot more appealing to a general audience, you know, because they're like, oh, is Westbrook going to be a team that wants to go, you know? So it just like from your title to your, you know, to even your video. I mean, it even picks up words in your video. You know, how do you phrase things? How do you say things? Stuff like that. But yeah, thumbnails are huge because you got to click through rate, and uh, uh, viewer duration. Sorry, click through rate and viewer duration are some of the most important factors when it comes to doing YouTube. So basically, how many people, if we show this to 100,000 people, how many people are clicking through? Which it'll tell you on your analytics. It'll say click through rate, and it'll give you a percentage, and then it'll say impressions. Impressions are how many people were shown the video. Your click through rate needs to be relatively high, and then viewer duration. That's important because it's how long is somebody watching your video. So statistically speaking, 80% is 80% of your video is how you get a viral video. Anything over 20%, I don't know what your viewer durations are, but like mine's around 40%. So that's why I get like about 10,000 views per video. So
okay, so that's how you judge that. Did you go by okay? So I'm gonna check that. I never really checked the analytics, to be honest. It is good to check. Before we finish, I got a cash app for Maurice. He said, for what players do you think the Jazz will give up if he did send 2 cash apps, if we trade with them?
Depends on what picks we give up.
yeah,
They'll give up almost any of them players they got now that can be traded. The Cleveland people can't be traded, but any of them players they got, they'll give any of them up pretty much, depending on what picks we're willing to give up. You want me to read this one now, or you want to read the other cash app?
Go ahead. No,
all right, 7 day
in person.
7 Day Sports Pod. We appreciate you, my brother. He said, "What's up, brothers? We need to make the trade as simple as possible as this with the Jazz and not the Pacers." Elder is talking right. More flexible with the Jazz. I know somebody had made a statement in there earlier. I'm trying to remember what they said. They were saying something about, I think it was Lakers over everything. Let me find his comment. I'm going to find it because I want to speak on it real quick if I can.
This it?
I'm going to find it. No, it was the one before that. I got it. He says, he said, you say easy to move, but I don't see teams helping the Lakers to free up cap space to sign Kyrie, even if it makes sense for them. See how hard it is this year. Totally different situation. And again, like Mike Conley would be the hardest contract to move, right? But it would be easy for the Lakers to move. First off, they didn't give up their picks, right? Once what's the name them makes their mind up on which pick they're going to take, which I think by that time they may have already had to make it. What is that? The Pelicans, right? The 2024 or the 2025. They may have already made that by then, so there could be even more picks available, right? But the Lakers would still have that one that we know they can move. That they decided to just move that to a team like an OKC or Houston that we know stand well below just so they can get picks, they would do that deal easily for the simple fact they don't care about the player. They could get Conley on a $24 million salary, waive him, pay him the $14 million, and save $10 million. So they save $10 million for doing the deal and get a pick from the Lakers. They're not going to tell the Lakers no to that. They save $10 million and get a pick just to take on a salary that normally they'd have to eat the whole $24 million of the salary to get the pick. Because Conley's only guaranteed $14 million. That's like a last ditch thing. Let's just say Conley plays well for us, y'all. Let's just play he serves one. He's working good with LeBron now. We can keep Conley. We ain't got to move him. We don't have to move him. So I don't think that's going to be an issue. And again, when it benefits you, you're going to do it. If you can get a player from the Lakers that benefits you, you're going to do it. So, and again, most of them deals, like I said, they're $5 million, they're six. That stuff's not going to stop us. First off, we don't have enough money to sign Kyrie anyways. If Kyrie wants a max extension, that's going to be about $45 million a year, y'all, for Kyrie. The Lakers is only projected to have, if we let everybody go, what, 30, 31 million in cap space next year? So signing Kyrie going to be, and that's like literally bringing back nobody except LeBron and AD. That's how we'll get that cap space. So I think Kyrie is just a pie in the sky. I think the Lakers is keeping it open. Maybe there's communication behind the scenes. I don't know. But I think Kyrie's a pie in the sky. And honestly, I think Brooklyn had to concede something for KD to come off his trade talk. And one of the things, if KD is any kind of baller or true friend, is you need to sign my guy. I need people here that I know I can win with. And Kyrie's somebody I believe. So if Kyrie come in, they get off to a good start, what Brooklyn typically does. They get off to a good start out in the East, playing well. I expect Kyrie to get signed. I really do. I expect them to sign him to a contract. And it's not going to be an issue for the Lakers then. And then that 30 million that we have could go to 15, 20, whatever. And we may have room to sign a player. I was telling people, I think the Lakers could go after a guy like Andrew Wiggins. I don't think what's name gonna pay him. I don't think Gold State's gonna pay him. You know. And if the Lakers come with the best deal, 375, 380, something like that, Wiggins may go to the Lakers. If we got that cap space. I'd like to see Wiggins next to those guys. That'd be a good pickup in my opinion. Stuff like that. So that's all I had.
What's your take? So we gonna stay like 5 more minutes. What's your take, Tyler?
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it depends on what the deal shapes up to be. You know what I mean? And it depends on what the Lakers get back. Say it is the proposed deal that's out there right now, which is just Conley, Beasley, and Bogdanovich, just to keep it simple. Beasley and Bogdanovich, there's your cap space. And then Conley, if you have a first, you can move off of. If there's some other deals or some other players or some other pieces, figure it out. Let's say it is what Elder was saying, and we have Rudy Gay and stuff like that. The mid-tier contracts are a lot easier to move than a $47 million contract. There are very few teams. A lot of teams would probably love to take Westbrook's contract, but does it make sense for the Lakers? Does it make sense for them? Even Miami. You don't think Miami would love to trade, Duncan Robinson and maybe even get off of Kyle Lowry's contract in order to take on Westbrook? Absolutely, they probably would. But in reality, smaller contracts are just easier to move. You got guys, especially if you get like a second round pick out of it, stuff like that, which the Lakers have like all their second round picks going forward. So they have like a ton of those. Although Lakers have done pretty well for themselves in the second round. So maybe those are pretty valued. But nonetheless, having a bunch of mid-tier contracts aren't the end of the world. I don't know if Kyrie comes, you know what I mean? And not just that, but I mean, just who he is. Right now he might want to go to the Lakers, but tomorrow him and KD go have some lunch and he's completely changed his mind. I don't think the Lakers can wait around hoping. I mean, look what happened with Kawhi Leonard. There was a ton of guys we could have gotten that would have helped us, and we let them all go, let everyone sign because we thought Kawhi Leonard was coming. And look, Kawhi Leonard, if the Paul George deal didn't happen, Kawhi Leonard probably would be a Laker. But guess what? The Steve Ballmer was able to get that deal done, and they were able to get Kawhi Leonard. So I think it just depends on what ultimately gets done as far as the trades go. But I don't think, as long as they can keep at least the first, they'll be fine. And then if things work out, like Elder said, I really think Conley's going to work out great for the Lakers. I really do. I think he's a guy that can do multiple things and really help out. But worst case, if it doesn't, you can move off him. There's plenty of teams that'll take that expiring deal and get a first out of it and help Kyrie. Big thing though too is let's say the Nets don't want Kyrie. Let's say the Nets implode. I don't think Kyrie's getting a max regardless. If The only way I see Kyrie getting a max now, I do think if the Lakers traded for Kyrie this offseason, I think the Lakers immediately would have extended him and he would have had a max. But now, like if it goes into the next offseason and Brooklyn lets him go, which one, I don't think makes a lot of sense, because they would still be over the cap. So they wouldn't be able, because Joe Harris's deal, 20 million that season or whatever, or 19 million, whatever it is, still have Ben Simmons on a max, still have Kevin Durant on a max. So they literally would not be able to replace Kyrie Irving. So do they try to work out a sign and trade with the Lakers? If so, maybe you swap. I mean, I'm not saying that they would, but because it would hard cap the Lakers.
Lakers
so,
can't do a hard cap.
Yeah, and so they probably can't do it. Yeah, exactly. But I'm saying there's flexibility, there's options there. So I just think like even if Kyrie does want to come to the Lakers next year, no other team in the league is paying Kyrie a max. Nobody. Because if the Brooklyn Nets let him walk, that means Kyrie didn't have a successful season with them. So that means nobody's gonna be wanting to give him max. So then it just comes down to how much are the Lakers willing to pay compared to some random team that would take Kyrie, just take Kyrie. Like the Knicks, I could see the Knicks being like, we want to be relevant and have star power. We'll pay Kyrie Irving. I could see something like that happening, but how much are they, and will they even have money? So yeah. So it's just, how much though compared to the Lakers? I think because the Lakers have next season,
I think
everything as is.
The Knicks is going to move Randall with them picks. Remember, I think they would move him. They give up 2 picks to move him just to get that space.
I
think they would. If Kyrie became available,
if Kyrie want to come,
I think Randall be gone so fast.
And that yes, quick, in that scenario, I'm with you. In that scenario, yes. If Kyrie was like, I'll go to the Knicks, they would trade.
Stay home. He get to stay at home too.
Yeah, they were going to trade 5. They were going to trade 5 picks to get Donovan Mitchell.
I don't think Kyrie will go there though. Even
I don't think he would either.
I don't think he'd go there. I think he would literally, if he had to go out through this season, play, not get a contract off from them, I think he's actually going to go to the Lakers. That's all I've heard is that he wants to be there. And he probably take less money. Like if the Lakers come and say, look, Kyrie, we love you. All we got is $32 million. I think he'd take it. I think he'd take it just to be in the Lakers.
Just to be on the Lakers, yeah. I mean, they could always structure it as a poison pill contract too if they needed to. Like if Kyrie absolutely wanted the max money, just poison pill it, because when LeBron's money falls off, you kind of give him. So for those that don't know, a poison pill.
He could do a 1-on-1. He could do a 2-year.
2 years. Something like that.
Could do like Harden just did. He could do a deal just like Harden did. Is what he could do. And then LeBron money fall off, then they can re-sign him and then find out what they're going to do with LeBron because you're not going to know with his son and all that. You don't know what LeBron's going to do anyway. So he may have to take 30 mil or something like that first year, just do a 1-on-1, and then that second year come back. And the Lakers are loyal. Kyrie could do that, get hurt, and the Lakers would still pay him.
Yeah.
That's just the type of team the Lakers is. They would still pay him.
And so that's something else that's a good point of conversation because like I've talked to people about that, and I said the reason why the Lakers because people are always like, and I'm like, the reason they paid Kobe was the reason the Lakers got LeBron. Because when you show that loyalty to your stars, which most teams in this league do not, but when you show that loyalty to your stars, that makes other stars want to come to the Lakers.
That's why they all want to play in the Lakers. That's
exactly.
Why all the stars want to play for the Lakers now. That's what all
exactly.
All the superstars want to be in LA.
Yeah, absolutely. LA is always going to be a top destination. Look, I think, and even like LeBron leaving, I think that comes down to what is the state of the Lakers. If we're in shambles and we're terrible, then LeBron probably leaves and goes plays with his son. But if we have Kyrie and say we're a contender, or we lose in a Western Conference tough 7 or something like that, LeBron probably does another 1+1. I think it just depends on where we are at the time when LeBron's
gonna go. I think LeBron gonna go wherever his son go. I think
I agree with that 100%. But I'm saying like
gotta go where his son goes.
He doesn't have to go the very first year. So like let's say in 2024, 2025. Let's say, he could go play with his son. But if the Lakers are like a legit contender, like let's say the Lakers get Kyrie next year. Let's say we win the championship or we lose in the Western Conference Finals. I don't think LeBron's going to leave and go play with his son that following year because he's going to be like, I'm on the Lakers. We should have been in the championship. Or if they win a championship or something like that with Kyrie, you're probably going to get him for another year or two because he's still trying to chase Jordan. He's still, if he could get another 1 to 3 championships, he's going to stay with the Lakers as long as they're competitive. So that's something else too. But if the Lakers are, if we're a play-in team after next season, I think LeBron goes, all right, I could be a play-in team with my son. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna go play with my son. So I just think it depends on where are the Lakers, the state of the Lakers at. Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, that make a whole lot of sense right there.
It does.
Yeah, so yeah, this was definitely a great show, man. It was great, man.
Been lit.
This thing was great. It's a lot
As
of
it stands. Thank you, brother. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming up
Thank
on
you
the
for letting me
Kareem
on.
Elder Show.
Yeah, thank you so much for letting me come on and let me be a part of this. It really was. It's very kind of you guys.
Come back.
I do.
You come back anytime you want, brother.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
We'll
have to do this again.
We definitely gonna do it again because we might have to do it soon when the trade happens.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The trade gonna happen. Before we go, I seen a lot of people keep saying Brooklyn interested in Miles Turner.
That makes sense.
Did y'all hear anything about that? I'm saying I don't know. It must have just happened. I'm saying
it happened earlier. It happened earlier today. I made a video on it on As It Stands, not the Lakers channel, just As It Stands. Lakers. So there was a report that came out that the Brooklyn Nets they want to address their center position. So Hassan Whiteside, DeMarcus Cousins are options. They obviously have Nick Claxton, but their ideal is Miles Turner. Now they've wanted Miles Turner for a couple years now. So problem is, how do they get that deal done? And like even the report says that. Like we don't know how they're going to get that deal done, but they apparently they've reached out to talk about it.
Joe Harris was their only option to trade.
Yeah,
him
but that makes no sense.
Pacers not taking it.
Makes no sense, and they don't have picks. They don't have picks to trade because the Rockets own all their picks and swaps. And then even the picks that they got from the Sixers deal, one of them they deferred, and the other one was included in the Royce deal, right? Was it the Royce O'Neal deal?
Yeah,
they gave up one of the picks, so they don't even have
they
don't even have the Sixers picks anymore. So they have no picks, they have no players. The only way you could, I guess, theoretically get it done off the top of my head would be they trade Nick Claxton and Cam Thomas.
They can't to December.
Well, they wouldn't be able to do it right now. They'd have to wait until.
They have to wait.
They'd have to wait until January. Yeah, or December. Yeah, December.
That I'm gonna tell you this. Anytime I hear about things being leaked, I always say, "Who does it benefit?"
Exactly.
And the people that don't really benefit the Nets right now, because look how we just broke it down so quick to show you the Nets really don't have an option to get Miles Turner right now. That benefits the Pacers. The Pacers are trying to put pressure on the Lakers, making them think that somebody else wants Turner, which they do, but they can't get him. This is why I said this posturing and all this stuff is retarded, man. It just don't make sense. Again, do a 3-team deal, man. And no, nobody's taking Joe Harris's contract, bro. Sorry, they don't even know if he's really truly healthy right now. They're not taking him, and so it's sad. I really hope if there is a trade that is with Utah, because I just really think those players will fit the role better than the players from what's the name them. I really do. I really do. I think if AD went down, people are going to be really, really disappointed in Miles Turner because they're going to have these great high expectations for him, and he's not going to be able to live up to them. He's not going to be able to do it.
He's a 12-7 guy.
And 7 is the biggest problem.
Yeah.
That's the biggest problem. When you 7 foot, you can only get 7 rebounds a game. You playing 30-plus minutes. That's a problem, bro. We can't keep you on the court. I don't care how many shots you blocking. We can't keep you on the court. You can't play pick and roll. I don't think those two. I want the quantity. Give me 4 guys for 2 over 2 for 1. We need more depth on this team. That's what I believe. Mm-hmm.
No, I don't think they ain't moving no Ben Simmons for no Miles Turner. That's not happening. They'll move Ben Simmons if possible, but not for that deal. It had to be something.
First off, he makes double the money.
Yeah,
the money don't work. Ben Simmons makes twice the money Miles Turner does.
Yeah, Ben Simmons
that definitely ain't working.
33, I think. I think he makes 33 and Turner.
I thought it was 35, 36. I thought it was 35, 36.
You can be right. I can't remember exactly.
I know he's way above him, so you need another player or 2 to make the money work. And not
even then, they want to see what they got with Ben Simmons.
Yeah, they want to see.
Ben Simmons, I mean, if we're being honest, the Nets are, in my opinion, the best team in the league on paper. Will they implode? That's a big thing. But, I mean, just front to back, they are insane. Like, they're scary. And Ben Simmons is a much better fit than James Harden ever was on this team. Just because everything that Ben Simmons is good at and is what kind of this team lacks: the defense, the rebounding, the passing, the facilitate. Everything Ben Simmons is terrible at, shooting. They have Seth Curry, they have Patty Mills, they have TJ Warren, they have Kevin Durant, they have Kyrie Irving, they have Joe Harris. I mean, they're everything that Ben Simmons lacks, that team has plenty of. So I think that team is going to at least see what Ben Simmons is capable of and what he can do. I mean, they're a really good team. Go get what'll probably end up happening. They still have their taxpayer mid-level. So they probably go get some piece or something like that, or maybe divvy that up and go get Hassan and DeMarcus. And then there you go. Now you got your three bigs. What more do you need? Cousins gives you a different look than Hassan gives you, and this, that, and the other. So.
Yeah, that's the thing there. You're right, and I just think that it's going to come down to health is number one, team chemistry, and I think like with the Lakers, like y'all said, I told Elder earlier I was big on the Indiana deal, but I'm warming up to getting like a guy like Malik Beasley and Bogdanovich. The Lakers need some more firepower, I think, and I think that helps. I think that helps tremendously with that type of firepower the Lakers get.
I think we always figure out a way offensively. Our biggest thing is defense to me.
Yeah,
we need that deep because that's what helped us win a championship. Who's the number one, number two defense in the league? We need to solidify that defense even more. I think the defense is good, but it can be better. And guys like Vanderbilt, this is why. And then he's worth the pick. Even though he's a second-round pick, he's outplayed that big time. I think he's worth it. He's to me, he's a building block you can keep along AD as a good role player that can go along next to him. So, and that defense going to a whole other level with him out there as a big too. With the guys we got, the high energy that those two centers got in AD, I just like it. And I think it solidifies us defensively more than anything. And you get Beasley, you got Nunn, Beasley, Walker, LeBron, Conley, AD, Bryant, Hillbilly Coach. We got scores, bro. We can score. I don't think the Lakers' problem is going to be scoring. I don't think we have to just got to get a bona fide score. But we need shooting. We need a little bit more shooting. I will say that. We need a little more shooting. But that package I put together, you get shooting with Conley, you getting shooting with Beasley. It ain't like Gay bad. Gay can still shoot that thing. We don't need him to do it as much, but he's a threat. You know, you're not gonna just let him take wide open shots. You know, Vanderbilt's the only guy that don't shoot threes out there. So, and I can live with that. If I can get 2.5 shooters back for Russ, I think I'm doing okay. I'm doing all right. I'd take it. But we'll see what happens, man. I hope something happens. I do hope that.
GW, thanks for the donation, GW.
Salute, GW.
We got Steve Holler, the Phoenix Suns fan.
That was 333 likes. We got 333 likes. That's what I'm talking about, y'all. That's what I'm talking about. That's what it should be every show. Man, salute, y'all. Salute the Kareem Report. Salute. Appreciate all the support, man. Y'all always come through for the brother, man. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Again, Tyler, as it stands, brother, man, awesome, brother.
Thank you. Seriously, thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank
you for coming over, brother, hanging out with us, man. Again, you're welcome anytime on the Kareem and Elder show.
I appreciate it. Thank you, gentlemen. Seriously, I really do appreciate it. And everybody in the chat showing me love. You were telling me earlier, Kareem, that we got a bunch of new subscribers over on my channel. People were subscribing, and I even saw people in the chat saying that. Thank you all so much for your kindness. And just let me be here and talk, you know, it's the beauty of this thing, right? Whether we agree, whether we disagree, we all talk at sports. It's a beautiful thing, you know, and that's what it should be, you know. I love it. I do. I love it. So thank you. I really do appreciate it.
It's about helping one another. That's why I got I don't know if you're familiar. I do a show. I just did an interview right before you came on. I got a show where I'm trying to lift up all YouTubers. I interview YouTubers called Get to Know Your YouTuber, because we got guys. Like right now, you see guys sending super chats, guys sending cash apps. So you want to get to know who you're sending your money to, who you spend your time with. So I interviewing different YouTubers. Each day I've been interviewing different YouTubers. and it helped them build their channel also. Even some people who got more subscribers than me, it's not, whoever,
Yeah.
but it's helped them build it because now they come here and they get to know you. Like I'm pretty sure when you're a numbers guy, when you get off the stream, you're gonna be able to see how many new subscribers you gained just for 2 hours you was on this chat here. So it's always like a refreshing thing. People get to grow their channel and you get to know who you're dealing with, and it's like a community right here. That's what we.
I mean, we're all in the space together. There's plenty of people in the world for all of us. We don't need to be competing with each other. It's a wonderful thing. I mean, we all have our different points, different views, all that stuff. It's great, And I mean, what's funny is I've had people mention you guys before. Well, Elder was in one of my live streams one time, and I saw in the chat everyone was like saying salute to you and stuff like that, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And I was like, oh, I've never heard of him, but clearly people recognize him. And then Kareem, I recently saw you in one of my live streams, and then commented on one of my videos one time about a week ago or so ago. So I was familiar with you. And then when I made the announcement, was it yesterday? Sorry, my days are all messed up. That I was going on LA Sports Live. I got a bunch of comments that were like, you need to go on the Kareem show. And I was like, oh, that's funny. And then I don't have my phone in front of me. One of your guys reached out to me.
Was it Randy? Was it Randy?
Yeah,
Randy.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Planet Randy.
Yeah, Planet Randy. There we go. Thank you. Shout out to Planet Randy. Yeah. He reached out to me, and which is funny because it was just like perfect coincidence. Like I had all these people literally yesterday telling me you should go on the Kareem and Elder show, and I was like, oh, like I'm not familiar with it, but yeah, sure. And then Planet Randy ended up hitting me up, and he's like, hey, they're doing a show today. They like you and they like your takes. Would you be willing to come on? And I was like, let me see if I can move some stuff around and make the time.
Man, we really appreciate that.
And, yeah,
we really appreciate that.
Planet Randy's gold star, man. Randy
he is. I love Planet Randy, man. Yeah,
good people. He was on it. He was emailing me back and forth. Even that, I was like, hey, I'm just waiting for the link. And immediately he's like, oh, sorry, here you go. Here's the link. I was like, okay, cool.
He's the best, man. Planet Randy, I'm glad he's down with us.
Yeah, that was awesome. But I appreciate you, gentlemen. Seriously, thank you.
Sir.
Thank you. We might hear something. We might be breaking news tomorrow, y'all, because I think it's going to go
there. You go.
Hopefully.
There you go, Kareem. Stop with the predictions. Stop, bro. All your predictions come wrong, so stop. Don't say nothing, bro.
I ain't gonna say nothing.
Say the opposite. It's not happening tomorrow.
These are West Coast teams, so if something go down, more than likely it's gonna be while we sleep or late night. Yeah, because they're both West Coast teams, so hopefully. We'll see, bro. We'll see. But stop.
I need y'all to like, subscribe. If y'all hit the Cash App, I will give you a shout out in the morning. Thank you, guys. It's been great. We've been here a little 2.5 hours. It's been great. Thanks, Elder. Thanks, Tyler. Thanks to chat. Everybody who supported. Thanks, Bullets Gotti earlier for the interview. Appreciate that. Peace out, y'all.
Salute. Good job, Kareem. Great show, bro. Great show. Again, Tyler, thank you, bro.